And I believe we are live.
Megawannen.
Yeah, welcome everybody to finally
Yeah.
another part in the top 75. It's been what? Let's
It's been
see.
several months. Would I even say like several months to even almost close to a year?
um
To a
it's
year?
yeah, it's been a year.
It's
It's
been
been
a
a
year.
year.
You look,
Yeah, it's been a year.
and I think uh,
September last year.
you know what? You know who's going to be super happy to see this? Hopefully he still has interest, but I think he does. But is Alex, which is I forgot his Frenzy. He does a lot of the hangouts with two bearded losers with Eric. So
Mm,
he requested, yeah, Alex is Alex F, and he said, when's the next time you and Sean are gonna do your next part? You know, he's anxiously waiting for that. You know, I guess he watched all the
yeah.
parts, so thank you for that. But yeah, we're back doing it at long last.
And I will say I will need to warn there is at least like one or two in like my next 10 that like it's actually been a while since I've even watched them.
Oh
So it might be a little hard for me to like
yeah,
have a lot of things to say about them because it's like of course I love them. I
understood.
mean, it's in my top 75, but it's
Yeah.
like I at least for me, I try not to watch like a film a lot of times. Whereas like cuz I don't want to get tired of that film. So I usually like at most I'll see the movie like once a year, but sometimes I'll like watch it once and then revisit it like a couple of years later.
Oh, more. At least in my case, it's been like more for maybe some of these. Like I haven't seen North by North, even though I've seen North by Northwest. I would say that's one of them somewhere on my list. I don't think it's going to be in this one. Uh, I haven't. I think I've seen it like at least once or twice, probably a couple times. But the last time I seen it, I think was when Brian was still here, and that was back in like 2013 when he moved.
Mm,
And so it's been at least since 2013 since I've seen that one. So you see what I mean? And
yeah.
I had to look something up because I was confused. North by Northwest, was that the one that had George Kennedy in it? And when I looked at the cast, that he wasn't in that one. I forgot the name that I did see. I know Cary Grant, of course, um, but I forgot the other name I seen. And the reason why I got confused between that one, it's with that one and the other movie Charade. That's the one that has George Kennedy in it. But yeah, North by Northwest, and then I think the original, although North by Northwest is not available on Criterion, but the one
No,
that
but
is
it
the
is on
remake,
Blu-ray. I have it.
it is. Yeah, I have that too. I think there's a digibook, but I don't have the digibook one of it. But that's a remake actually of the 39 Steps, and that
Mm,
on Criterion, and I need that one.
yep.
And I saw that one as well, and that was a great one. But anyways, I don't
Yeah.
want to jump ahead of
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, I guess we'll just kick right off. I will say most of these I know pretty damn well. And I mean, I would hope most people are going to know like a lot of what you're going to see are considered classics in here. This
Oh
is
yeah,
what like the really big stuff.
mm,
Like cuz I mean, yeah, we're in the top 25 now. So,
yeah. I forgot how you said we were going to do this. So there's a couple more parts, and then it comes down to the top five, and that would be a separate thing, or was
yeah,
it top three or
yeah, so
something
we're
like that?
doing 25 to 16.
Okay.
And
And
then
time
we
is
can try to do another part of 15 to 6, and then we can do our last video of just our top
oh
5.
yeah. Okay, got it. Right, right. So really, after this one, we have one more, and then the final one. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey. Okay, and we're gonna finally be done with it, and we can watch this over again and see the progression, how things were, because it's spanned like what a couple of years or so, right?
Yeah.
This whole thing.
I mean, now that you say I
Wow.
want to see how long it's been since the very first one.
Okay, go ahead and look. Let's see. I don't want to touch it.
Um
I don't want to mess anything up here.
oh no, it was
Probably 3 years.
in no, not 3 years. Or well, okay, In 11 days, it will be 2 years old.
In 11 days, it'd be 2 years old. The very
Yeah.
first one we did.
Yeah.
Okay. So by the time we get this done, it'll be that 11 days. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Who
A
knows?
2 year thing
Let's
for
do another 1 year break, and then it'll be 3.
yeah, we're doing another 1 year break. Wait, well, let's try not to do that. Let's try to
Yeah.
let's try to keep it within like a few months. You know, if not
Yeah.
sooner, if we're able to do it even sooner than that, because it's already done. You know, there's no. It's
Yeah.
not like we have to wait till certain movies come out before we can finish our list. It is done.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, go on.
Let's get into my number 25, a true
Okay.
classic. I don't think anybody would deny.
Okay. Don't
Is
forget Shaver. Yeah.
yep, Jurassic Park.
Oh
Yep,
yes. Can I?
absolute classic. I mean, what's there to say? It's like I don't know. It's like I don't know. I've never really truly considered it horror, but it's like a fantastic. It's one of those just great adventure films, like all the
Oh,
way around.
and this is the
One of
scene here with the guy that got eaten by the toilet. The
yep,
the lawyer,
the
the blood
lawyer.
sucking lawyer. The only one on my side is the blood sucking lawyer.
Yep,
I want you guys to. Yeah.
yeah, great film. That I mean, I don't know, I don't know what to say. Like
All right. This is.
I think yeah, because it's like everything's been said.
Yeah. I mean that everything. You
I
know,
mean
just
everything like even for like the way all the special effects were handled were done like expertly done. Like even
Mhm.
with all the issues that they had when making them, like
Yeah.
they were able to get around it, and even like the CGI for its time, like the little bit there was, it's like you could barely tell. I mean,
Yeah. Now you
there's like the
can look
one
at them.
shot, but it's like I feel like you can overlook some of that stuff, and at least
Oh
for
yeah.
me.
It's what do you call that? These things like this, you chalk it up to it being a product of its time. You know, and
And
like there's
even then, like the dialogue and
oh
the
yeah
writing, it's timeless.
that
Like in the fact that that most of what you see is practical makes it like stand the test of time.
his name is Richard Attenborough, or was it Attenborough? Well, I can't remember his first name.
Yeah,
Is Richard? Oh,
the
there it is.
owner
Yeah,
of the
yeah, yeah.
park.
Richard Attenborough.
Yeah,
Actually, he was in the Miracle 34th remake, but how great was he
yeah, he's great.
in
Playing
24 hours?
John Hammond.
I'll be accepting your apology. Are there going to be dinosaurs on this dinosaur? I forgot what he used, but this dinosaur trip or something like that. Is there going to be dinosaurs? I really hate that, man. And over that part with I think his name is Wayne Knight, and he was in Seinfeld as Newman, and in here, he was a computer guy that loves to eat, and he's the one that was going to betray Attenborough, and so he was supposed to steal some embryos. And you remember he was supposed to use the shaving cream.
Yeah.
I know it's shaving cream, but back in the day, I had no concept of that because I didn't have to shave before, and I just thought it was whipped cream. So I just had no idea. So when he put it on his hand, it was like, oh, I'm thinking to myself, oh, whipped cream, and then he put it on the pie like that, and the audience gasped like, oh, and I was like, and I was thinking. Yeah, I was like, yeah, but I thought like maybe the was a little bit too. I'm like, it is still gross, but I was more like, oh, but yeah, okay, I can see that. Putting the whipped cream from your hand, who knows where his hands have been? So putting the whipped cream on the pie. They weren't saying ew because so much it was from on his hand. They said that because it was shaving cream, and I didn't know that
Yeah.
back then. But now I know that brand, Barbasol, because I use it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think like the Jurassic Park is so iconic. Even like when you look at Barbasol, you think of Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I look at it now when I go to shave, and I think, oh, Jurassic Park. The can's a little different now, but it's that brand and this logo. I'm like, wow, it's great.
Yeah. I mean,
And those two kids and that little girl when she screams. And I remember when I worked at John Hancock, and there's a girl named Judy, and she seen Jurassic Park for the first time, and it was already like over a year old, but she had seen it for the first time, and she said, "And that little girl, she can act." Oh yeah, look at facial expressions on her face. Yeah, she can act. And she's just talking about. I'm just listening in on the conversation, kind of eavesdropping on it, not really inputting anything, but just listening. And I like to do that because these are like older people, so I don't at the time. But it was just like real fun to hear them talk about Jurassic Park and other stuff that they would talk about. Sometimes they
yeah.
talk about movies. I love to listen in on that. But yeah, that little girl that's the Brachiosaurus when the two kids were and they go feed it the plant
Yeah.
with Sam Neill. Damn, the Sam. Yeah, my brother and I, whenever we say damn, we think like, let's try to say damn the way Sam Neill says it. Damn. Sam Neill is just a one of a kind. That guy is such a fantastic actor. Even when he came back for
Yeah.
the third one, and even in stuff like Event Horizon,
But even like with that, like that's kind of like, at least for me, I haven't really cared for any of the sequels.
The second one maybe, but that's the one where they had guns, but they weren't really shooting at it. And is that the one with
I haven't seen it in probably like at least 5 years.
Yeah,
I don't. I remember very little. I remember the T-Rex in the city at the end.
Yeah, that I
and the
remember.
Gymnastics, and that's about it.
Yeah, the second one was not that
But
good.
the third, I
The third
thoroughly
I
disliked.
I enjoyed the third one. What the? I like that they brought Sam Neill back, and you saw a little bit with
But I
Dern,
hate.
with Laura
But I
Dern,
hated so many of the side characters, and like the
Oh,
nightmares with the talking dinos was just so goofy.
Nightmare with the Talking Dino. Oh yeah. Someone had it. Wasn't it Sam Neill who had that dream?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had like a dream, and he woke up. And how did you get your hands on T-Rex piss or something like that? You don't want to know, or something like that. Yeah. I don't know. I still enjoy that. And what a nice little touch with the facing off against the Raptors again, but this time he comes in a little bit better prepared with the wind. I don't know what it is, but the pipe, the throat pipe thing of it. And he commanded them or something like that. I don't know. I just thought it was great. And of course, when they go out to the beach, of course, good old Laura Dern had called in the cavalry. So it was really great to kind of see her in the beginning part and later on for that phone call. And I got really kind of hyper inside, but I would have really liked to have seen her become part of the action again. Do you remember the sounds they made? And I myself got chills hearing that, because I remember the first one. I think if you love the first one so much, then the third one is a bit more easier to love because of the return of Sam Neill and seeing Laura Dern kind of together, even though they're technically not together or even married or anything like that. But just to see those two characters interact again, for me, that's why it made it wasn't so hard for me to enjoy that one.
I really don't like it, and I don't know. I haven't liked any of the sequels.
Oh, I thought you said you like Jurassic World and
no, Jurassic World just feels very fake and processed to me.
And then the sequel of Jurassic World, and
I thought the sequel was even even dumber. The whole bidding on dinosaurs and whatnot. I thought it was very stupid.
That's what it was about. Right. They were bidding on the dinosaurs. I remember that. Yeah.
And the whole where
but that
they set all the dinosaurs free because they were like, they're just like me. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just a sucker. I still like stuff like that. I love goofy shit like that. Jurassic World. How about that face off with the I forgot what they called it. They call him an ultrasaurus, or he was like some kind of made up dinosaur that they spliced together, and it had like a weird name to it. an ultra Bacchosaurus. You know what I'm talking about? They
Yeah,
created some creature, some kind of dinosaur. I'm Omnirex or something like that. I can't remember. Like an
exactly. You can't
yeah,
remember.
I
It
can't
was
remember
it
what
was
it was.
so unmemorable.
But it's okay because the fight was great. When that raptor teamed up with that T-Rex, because normally they would fight, they looked at each other and they recognize a fake. They recognize a phony dinosaur when they saw one. So they smelled it. This isn't like one of us. I know we're a little mutated ourselves, but this is a true abomination. And then they just teamed up against that thing. I think it was like the two raptors. And then at the end, that plesiosaurus comes out of the water. I think it was a plesiosaurus, and then it just takes a chomp out of him and drags him down into the water. Oh, fantastic! I was cheering, and deep down inside, I was like, real. I was like, oh. And then when the it was down just to the raptor and the T-Rex, and they look at each other, and it's just like they got like respect. They got respect for each other, and they go their separate ways. And how can you not love it? Come on, it was fun. It was fun. And Dallas Bryce Howard, she was okay. She was okay. She was not really annoying, and she doesn't really star in much stuff. I mean, I remember her in The Village as a blind girl. Um, Gwen
I don't
Stacy,
know.
and
I,
I think
I
that's
haven't
Fame
been
Three, but
too impressed with her
really,
because I don't know. She just
she hasn't.
screams
Yeah,
stereotypical white girl.
she hasn't
What
really been in much.
like her best role to me has been in Black Mirror.
The Village. Oh,
Just
Black Mirror. Yeah, yeah. Is
just
that the
because
one?
she literally plays a stereotypical white girl in
Yeah, yeah. Is that the
in
one where?
that episode.
Yeah, and in that episode, was that the one where you have to? Did they thumb you up or something like that? You got to be careful
Yeah,
with. And they're both in the jail, and then they're screaming at each other.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I like that one. She was great in that. Yeah, but
yeah. Because I liked how it was kind of like it, but her persona kind of becomes shattered and she just goes insane.
yeah, that was a good episode. That was she's all around an okay actress. She's not like super terrible, but that's why I'm saying she hasn't starred in much. So to see her in this was okay. I
I
thought
mean,
she was
hell, she,
okay in this. It
she's
was
in
fun.
a whole multi-billion-dollar franchise now.
What's that now?
Jurassic Jurassic World.
Oh, she's in Jurassic. Oh, yeah, yeah, Jurassic World. Yeah, right, right.
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, she's starring along Chris Pratt, so she's considered A-list territory now.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, I guess she's a little too old to play someone like Gwen Stacy, or not Gwen Stacy, but like Mary Jane. She was already Gwen Stacy, anyways. But I wonder if they can bring her back. Because of the whole multiverse thing that's
I don't
happening.
think they will.
You don't think they're gonna
No,
bring her?
yeah, she's definitely too old now.
No, she's
They're
definitely.
gonna. I don't even think Emma Stone could pull it off now.
Ooh, oh yeah, you're right. Well, then yet they're getting the other people who are Spider Man, but I think
And
they
I
need to
think
be older.
that's if I we don't even still know for sure.
Oh, we don't
That's
know
what
for
I kind of
sure.
funny is gonna. Yeah, let's not
Oh,
let's wait for Spider-Man to come out to actually have a whole
oh
discussion
yeah,
about that.
because
Um,
because we know the villains are there, but we don't know if the Spider Men are there. Is that
yeah,
what it is? You know what they're doing now? They're setting things up for the Sinister Six. You know Sinister Six?
yeah,
You know what that is? Yeah, and that's
yeah.
that's what's
I
happening.
mean, I believe the Sinister Six are in the video game.
But they're also in the cartoons and the comics.
Well,
I believe.
I mean, yeah, I've seen the Sinister Six before because
Yeah.
I played the game.
Okay.
Though it is a bit different
But they can
because
do it again.
it is still led by it was still led by Doc Ock, but there were some new villains in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
And I don't think you can't bring
I
leftovers.
think Mr. Negative is like a completely new character that was in the game.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, yeah. And I
Like,
don't think
do
you
you know
can.
Mr. Negative?
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, yeah,
No.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like completely new.
Ah, okay.
I don't know if that's gonna have
I don't know
any
Mr. Negative. I know Mr. Nobody from Doom Patrol, played by
um
Alan Tudyk.
not but I won't go into the whole game thing and all.
Yeah.
Spider-Man's a whole other discussion. Actually,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll just wait to talk about
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
We're wait to talk about Spider-Man. We're getting us how we went from Jurassic Park and then slowly inched to
Yeah,
Spider-Man. Let's get away
yeah.
from that.
All right, let's do
Okay.
your next.
Okay, hold on. So hold on. Before you do that, how do I
Oh, Or I already
Oh, I'm
put it up.
already on my thing. Oh, okay, great. Oh, is it up? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I see how this is. What would happen if I did this? It didn't affect anything, did it?
No, as long as you don't change what's on the tab.
Okay, this is great. Okay. Yeah, so this is my 25, and this is,
Yep.
come on, supercalifragilistic
Fan-
expialidocious. Come
yep.
on.
Fantastic. Probably still my favorite live action Disney movie.
Oh, yeah. And this, I did the play for this when I was in the 6th grade. I was man on the street and a bank teller. Uh, yeah, it's not big roles,
Did
but
you sing the bank song?
um,
What was it called? I can't even remember.
if you put tuppence in the bank, it will. The old man, right?
Yeah.
I didn't sing that song because I was not the old man. That was Brandon Welsh, who was the
Fidelity Fiduciary Bank.
Fidelity. Oh, is that the song that what's the husband's name? Yeah, David Tomlinson, right? The one who sang it. If you,
I can't
yeah, David
remember.
Tomlinson, because I remember.
It should have the cast below there
Yeah,
on
it's right
on
there,
your
David
screen.
Tomlinson. I see it there, and that's the guy. He was in Bedknobs and Broomstick as well, an excellent one. But someone that we didn't sing every single song, like "Feed the Birds," I believe we didn't sing. No. I think maybe "Feed the Birds" we sang. "Stay Awake" we didn't sing. There was like a couple songs that we had to edit out, and just for the time constraints. Because it was when we did the play, it's just a play, so it's got to be shorter than a movie, you know. So that's why that kind of holds like a special place. I still liked it even before then, but now it's just like it holds a special place because I was in the play. But I mean, everything from the mixture of animation and live action when they jumped into the paintings on the side
Yeah.
of the street.
Though I will say, I've usually when I've seen this film, I've only watched through the whole film like maybe a couple times.
Oh, I've
But
seen
I've seen like
bunch.
yeah, I've listened to the music on repeat, and I've seen the beginning of the film a lot.
Yeah, practically perfect in every way. And
Yeah,
just
the whole
a
song that
spoonful of sugar. Yeah, go on.
yeah the whole song the kids sing to Mr. Banks on the Perfect Nanny. Do you
Jane
remember
and
that?
Michael Banks. Never be crust or cruel. Never feed us castor oil or
Or
gruel.
gruel?
Love us like a son and daughter. And yeah, if you want
Yep.
yeah, that was
Fantastic soundtrack. Of course, it's
yeah,
Sherman
it is.
Brothers.
Oh God, yeah. This is what I'm talking about. It's like from this era even up to the 70s, like with Pete's Dragon. Um, like it's a Brazil dazzle day. To be quite honest, like I guess I could kind of tell it's like 70s, but it's still the music still sounds very similar. There comes a point when it was like the 60s and 70s for Disney. It's hard to place, the era. The music all just kind of sounds like it's the
Oh yeah,
60s and
it's
70s.
a lot of it was the Sherman Brothers.
That's probably why. So it had that
I
same kind
mean,
of.
that's why I have the what is called the Summer Magic, which you probably
Oh,
haven't even seen.
probably not. Yeah.
Yeah. The story is like but the music is really good.
Oh, and sometimes I can elevate it. And
Yeah.
elevate the movie. But this is what I'm talking about. It's like this kind of era, and even earlier. It's dating all the way down to like, Wizard of Oz. To me, it's this golden age of musicals that I love, and it's very rare for me to like. And I know there's the modern day stuff, like you said, La La Land and all that stuff, and even though I've yet to see it, it's for some reason it's just me. I know it's probably still like a good film, but I think that time has passed. Like for example, if there were artists that I know you have like people like Michael Bublé, and that's fine. That's great. I know he sings in that style, And
Michael
you,
Bublé is very processed, at least to me.
yeah, what I was gonna say is like, it's he's he's just imitating what came before, Sinatra. I'm listening to the light, which is now playing all Christmas music, and when the announcer, the DJ, is introducing him, he goes, "Whom I consider the modern day Frank Sinatra, Michael Bublé," and then he's saying like, I think he's like,
No,
"Oh, come on, don't do that," He's just imitating what came before, and to me, you can't quite do it. You gotta sing kind of
no.
like
To me, you gotta
modern,
make if you're gonna make like a modern Christmas song, it needs to be something new.
Mm,
Like don't
mm.
like I guess like when artists in the '80s were making Christmas music. Like it doesn't sound like anything from like the '50s and the '60s, but
There
to
you
me it
go.
still
That's
sounds
right.
great.
Yes,
Like
there you go.
Paul McCartney, or isn't there one from
Is that the
what do you
Paul
call it?
McCartney? Is that
The
simply
spirit
having
having a wonderful
a
Christmas
Christmas
time.
time? Oh, oh, I love that.
And everybody
Da-da-da-da.
talks about that Mariah Carey song. That's like not even like a
That's an
super
okay
old
one.
song.
It's not a super old song, but you know what? I've kind of grown to love it, and especially because of that film, Love Actually, how it was in that one. Yeah, I like that film, Love Actually.
I'm
But
trying to remember what the freaking
and the
I
Ariana Grande song was quite good too. The Santa. Um, I forgot the title of it now, but I played it on my phone. It was one of the songs I was playing when I was listening to the station. Do you know the Ariana Grande Santa? Um,
no.
no, 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 Santa baby, if you really yeah, next year,
That
Santa baby, the
okay,
name
I
Santa
found the
baby, Ariana Grande is the
I found the song I was thinking of.
ah, okay.
Last Christmas by Wham.
Okay, now you know what? I like that song better when it's sung by a girl, And I know Wham did it, okay, and that's fine. And then, and yeah, it's okay. And then Savage Garden did it, which, by the way, when I knew nothing of Savage Garden, and when I heard the name of this group, Savage Garden, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be some heavy shit, like death metal stuff, with a name like Savage Garden. Oh. And then they play, and they sounded nothing like that. It was not what I expected. And what is this crap? So I don't really care for Savage Garden, and I don't care for their version of that Last Christmas. But when a chick sings it, I'm good with it. Ram, okay, that's fine, but I just like it a lot more when a chick sings it. It just for some reason feels right. I don't know. Maybe the words or something. That's just me though. And I know Wham, yeah, it's a classic, from the '80s, George Michael and all that. But yeah, I just wanted to say everything about with Mary Poppins was great, from the music, the acting, Dick Van Dyke, Julie Andrews, the kids, David
Yep.
Tomlinson, everything. I know a
Yeah,
man with a wooden name with a wooden leg named Smith. What's the name of his other leg? Fly a kite. Everything you could just think of a certain scene, and each scene, like, you just it bring it you just talk a little bit, just like the fly the kite. You know exactly where in the film it is, and how it goes. It's everything about it is super iconic. Spoonful of sugar, from to clean up your room, and then the
yep.
spoonful of sugar song to do things. And when the kids
Just a
couldn't sleep,
spoonful of sugar.
I love to laugh and everything. And I love the whole the reverse psychology thing of the Stay Awake song.
And
They didn't want to sleep, so Mary Poppins said, okay, so she's singing the Stay Awake song, but it had the opposite effect, and it put them to sleep.
yep.
So
Or
I love
the feed the birds, tuppence a
it.
bag.
Tuppence, tuppence, tuppence a bag. Oh, that's absolutely great. That's the one song we didn't sing. I think we didn't sing. Yeah, we didn't sing the Feed the Birds. There just wasn't time for it. And yeah, so that's my pick, and that's my number
Yeah.
25.
All right.
Okay.
All right. My next is a film that has been like it's a film that has been getting the spotlight a bit more recently. Like
Okay.
when it came out, I believe it won best animated feature. I
Okay.
think it did, but among normal audiences, it was just called, "Oh, that's the Pixar movie with the rat," and that's it.
Ratatouille. I love that
Yep,
film. I love that
Ratatouille.
film. Ratatouille.
I love it.
I
I
saw that in
rewatched it
theaters.
more recently, and it's it's fantastic. And I honestly
It is.
believe it is at least top three
Yeah.
Pixar to me.
I can't believe that's that date, that year that came out in 2007. It's I just can't believe
Oh,
it.
and it's a
It's a long ass
beautiful,
time
beautiful
ago.
movie. I love the
It
music.
is. Oh yeah. And the look of
It is
everything. Oh.
yeah, it is absolutely fantastic. I love the message that it gives,
Mm-hmm.
and I the whole monologue with the critic at the end was
Oh
fantastic.
yes. Yes, when he's talking about it doesn't matter that it's like he was surprised by who made the perfect ratatouille, you know?
Yeah, I believe it was not everyone can cook, but
But
anybody can be
can
great. I think that's what it was.
yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. Yeah. How he said that thing. And a little bit, but initially how he I think he when he heard the story or something and the narration, how he got up, he looked in the back, and then he just turned around and like walked away, really, or something like that. And they didn't know whether it was going to be like good news or bad news. But then he wrote his thing, and it was like a very good review of
Yeah.
that restaurant. And then even the rat, yeah, Remy, opens up his own little restaurant within that restaurant. I love that.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a beautiful movie, and it has a lot of heart, and it has a lot of great comedy, a lot of what I
yes,
would consider good um slapstick, because I think
yes,
a lot of modern cartoons get slapstick wrong,
mm, yeah, yeah.
and I
I
think
see what you mean. Like that whole thing also with the was it like a letter or something? He was chasing after it on a bike and it was going in the water and then someone was chasing him. Or was it chase or I think the rat no. I think the rat
well
was running
there's the
really
whole
fast
chase scene with the
with
sous
that
chef.
little chef, the sous chef that was trying to expose him or something like that. And he's
Yeah.
chasing the rat. Yeah, Remy, and then
Yeah.
going from boat to boat. Yeah. I love that scene. I love
And I
the
love the
comic
whole
scene.
part where he's trying to expose like
Yeah.
expose Remy at the end, and
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
orders exactly what the critic is having, and even he couldn't deny that it tasted
It was good.
fantastic. Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah. And I love my food stuff. Any scenes with movies in a show or a movie with food, I absolutely love. So that's why
yeah,
that's another thing. I was throwing a dash of salt, and he knew exactly what to put in. I love the
yeah.
whole
I love
puppetry.
the
The puppetry.
way
Oh,
the film expresses taste and
oh
like the
yes,
artistry of
getting me
cooking
hungry.
is
Hmm.
is
Yeah,
fantastic. It is done very, very well.
I got some leftover turkey. I've got some. I know you may not like it, but I've got some garlic crickets and some spiced crickets in there. Oh, it's great and yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, yeah, it's great, and I'm glad because at least for me, whenever I talk to people about the movie for the longest time, they were like, "Oh, that's just the movie with the that controls the human and
Really?
whatnot."
You didn't like
Uh,
it?
yeah, and I'm like, dude,
Just
why
keep reading.
rewatch the movie? It's actually really,
It's
really good.
really
It's a
good.
lot. Yeah, it's. But I'm glad, at least more recently, I've seen more and more praise for the film.
I saw it
Much
once in
very
theaters.
deserved praise.
Yeah, and
Let
then
me see.
I saw it in the theaters with my mom, and then I seen it like again later when it came down. And then it's been a long time since I seen it. And then I most recently seen it. Remember when I was in the hospital for blood pressure, like several months ago, and like a few months to several months ago. And when I was there, I was there for like what 4 days in there, and all I did was just watch movies and Disney movies, and Ratatouille was on, and I watched it again. And
I
I just
just
said,
looked it up, and yeah, it did win Best Picture, not Best Picture,
"Oh,
Best
yeah,
Animated Feature.
best animated feature." Okay.
But I mean, it was only one of three that were even nominated.
Mm,
It's kind of
wow,
weird.
this is amazing. This Ratatouille, a decade earlier from that, was already like was just 1997 when As Good as It Gets came out, and now it's like really old now. You know, since
Yeah, it's
As Good as
like
It
a
Gets.
14-year-old movie.
Yeah,
And
Jesus.
I mean, I remember watching this one in the theater. I remember it was a double feature with this and the Simpsons movie.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like the Simpsons movie as well. I have that one somewhere. I think it's up over there somewhere. Yeah, the Simpsons movie. Yeah.
yeah.
Hi,
Oh,
I'm
I mean, I
General.
was I was like I was probably like 7 or 8.
Oh, wow. Wow. Well, when you saw the Simpsons movie and Ratatouille,
Yeah.
you was 7 or 8 when Ratatouille. Oh yeah. Oh man.
Yep.
Yeah, you're
But I
just a
mean,
kid.
it yeah, but yeah, I love this film, and it's another one of those. It's like you're gonna hear me say a lot with like the higher we get on the list. It's if they're films that the more I watch them, the more I love them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Ratatouille.
Yep. And
Right, and
I don't,
you're
I don't know if that was
next.
on my list, but that's because I didn't. I if I had made my list when I was already in the hospital, after all that and seeing it again, it probably I would have found a way to squeeze it in. But anyways, yeah, my next one, yes, Castle in the Sky, but I know it under the title of La Puta. And for a while, they were having a hard time getting it over here, and doing a dubbed and getting it here into States and everything because of the name La Puta. And I think in Spanish, La Puta is like son of a bitch or bitch or something. It's like a swear word, la puta, when you call someone a puta, and it's spelled Laputa. So that was like part of the issue. At least that's what I heard. I don't know if that was just rumor, but when I heard this was way before like the internet was really big and people putting stuff like that. Um, I think this is something I actually read about like in magazines. But yeah, when I seen it under Laputa, strictly Japanese. There wasn't even English subtitles, and it was a VHS. And it was at my cousin Patty's house. And
Yeah,
even
I
though I
think I
didn't
remember you
shit,
doing this when you didn't have any subtitles, so you were just watching it, like
yeah,
not even knowing what they were saying,
no,
but
and
you
I still
still loved
enjoyed
it.
it. I still loved it. And then that's why when I saw like, wait a minute, Castle in the Sky, and I'm looking, this looks familiar. This picture, and I remember like all the Shita, the way they spoke in Japanese, but now it's like different because they had James Van De Beek as the boy, and I think it was Anna Paquin as the girl. Was it Anna Paquin? What doesn't
Yeah, they
say
did a
the
whole they like went back and did
redubbed it in
yeah,
English,
they did new dubs for all of them, like I think Disney
hmm
did.
and you had Cloris Leachman as the grandmother from that pirate gang. And this was such a lovely, beautiful, gorgeous film with just excellent music. And I'm talking about the soundtrack, not necessarily when I say music, not singing music, but just like the track, the soundtrack to it. I can't do it, but it's like real. Um, ah, and Patsu's song on the trumpet. Uh, I can't remember. I'm losing it, but it's like uh, dun 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 dun. And when they played it, the Japanese version, it wasn't as full and it wasn't as robust and it wasn't as vibrant and colorful as when Disney got it. What they did was they remastered that song and added a whole orchestral accompaniment to just the trumpet before the Japanese was dun, 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 dun. And I don't know, I think he's just playing like dun, 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 dun. It just sounded it still sounded great. But when Disney did it, it started off like a trumpet, and then all of a sudden, dun, 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 and then you heard like the strings, and it filled everything in. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 and it changes an octave and just absolutely beautiful. And just the track, dun, 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 I can't do it, but it's like real beautiful when he's telling the whole story of Laputa when he showed the photograph, talking about how his father, how he discovered it, and the music that was playing. Dun, 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 dun. It sounds very ethereal and just very dreamlike, and you just watch the movie and when you hear pay close attention to the track, and when talking about Laputa and when they get there to Laputa and that robot is like the guardian. Oh, so you had Mark Hamill as the bad guy. I forgot his name though. Muska. I think his name was like Muska or something like that. And it is just so Mark Hamill, and it fit Mark Hamill's voice. You know, the role of Muska, the American voice. Cloris Leachman as the grandmother. Perfect voice casting. James Van Der Beek. Even though I didn't see his show, or was it so much? Or was it Dawson's Creek or something? I didn't really see so much of that. Really, not at all. And of course, Anna Paquin, just great casting. It's a secret castle in the sky called Laputa, and they explain things like how they're responsible for the whole Sodom and Gomorrah. He's trying to get there. Patsu, with the help of Shita, and there's a secret about her and her necklace. I'll just say that they're trying to get there. Because he wants to prove that his father wasn't crazy, that he really found this castle in the sky, and he took just a brief picture, photograph of it. And then Muska, he wants to get there. I believe he lived there once before, but was cast out, and he wants to get back, and he has the power of the gods at his fingertip, and he even said like this is the thing that brought down Sodom and Gomorrah, and whenever they talk about the gods raining down fire and revenge, it was Laputa that dealt this kind of damage, this kind of destruction, and they had such far out and advanced technology like that Guardian robot, and just technology in there that just can't be explained. This is such a lovely film filled with heart. A great mystery that just demands to be unraveled and discovered, to be discovered along the way with these two kids, with Patsu and Shita, and you just get excited when you see the villain going after them, first with Cloris Leachman's character, the grandmother, I forgot her name, and her pirate gang, and then being pursued by Mushka, and to hearing that story and seeing the relationship, and when they go on that adventure together, you just get so absorbed in all these characters. You care about them, and when they finally take flight and go up into the clouds, and they discover this place eventually, and what you see there, what they find, and the music as the castle in the sky, Laputa is slowly being revealed when they finally see it, and they see the robot walking and the birds. Like I said, I can't do the music, but you got to hear it, and when you hear that music, it'll bring a tear to your eye. I mean, when I thought, I was like holding back the tears. It's just the music. Listen for it. I hear it in my head, The reason why I have a hard time is because I can't, my vocal cords can't reproduce the sounds of the instruments. So I'm real sorry about that, but I'm butchering it. But anyways, yeah, that's my thoughts on Castle in the Sky. What you got to say about it?
I still haven't seen it.
Oh, you sicken me. I think you have it though, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I just haven't watched it yet. There's a lot of Ghiblis that I haven't watched yet.
You got make this your next one. The next Ghibli you watch this one. Otherwise, we can't talk anymore. No, but you got to watch this one next. It's this one, and Secret World of Arietti. Oh God, Princess Mononoke. What is that one where it's like an Alice in Wonderland one? they go into like a Wonderland kind of place. They made it in
Um,
theaters.
I'm not sure.
Whisk Away or Spirited Away. Spirited Away. That's
Oh,
another decent one, another good one. Although, to my personal opinion, not as good as something like Castle in the Sky, sequel of Arietti, and when Marnie was here, right? Or
well,
when
I've
Marnie
seen
was
that
there.
one.
That was a good one. That one. We're gonna be best friends forever. I mean, it's just it's stuff like that. But all the Studio Ghibli is just always all full of heart and lovely, and that's all I gotta say about it.
All right,
Yeah.
all right, all right. I guess this next one's gonna be speed round.
Oh yeah. Okay. We
So
better do that.
yeah,
We're going on
which
for
I mean,
nearly.
yeah, this next one is another. It's just like Jurassic Park. It need no introduction, and it's like
Okay.
this one. It's actually been at least a year since I've last seen it,
Okay.
but it it's
Like
still
Jurassic
great.
Park.
It's Jaws.
Jaws.
Yep,
Oh.
another Spielberg.
Is that the one we're gonna need a better boat? Was that a line from that, or we're gonna?
Yeah,
Yeah, that
yep.
is.
You're
Come
gonna
on,
need a
Roy
bigger boat.
Schreiber. We're gonna need a bigger boat. Uh, Dreyfus, what's his name?
Yep,
Richard
Richard
Dreyfus.
Dreyfuss.
Just excellent. And that prick Mayor and who didn't believe. This, yeah, go on. I don't want to. I want to. I'll
I
let you talk.
mean, yeah, there's
This is
not much to say. It's just another Spielberg classic. I mean, this time like almost a whole 20 years prior, yet it still feels timeless.
and it's PG or PG 30. I think maybe like
Yeah,
PG or
when it came out, it
PG.
was PG. It was
PG.
PG, and I guess I don't know any movies that I've ever had to be re-entered into the MPAA, so it's still
Right.
PG.
This is one of those things where they make these types of movies nowadays. Shark Attack and Shark Attack 3
Yeah, this is
and
still the best shark movie,
Crocodile. This is still the
hands
best
down.
shark movie. But what I wanted to bring up was it proves that you don't have to go R to be an entertaining type of, like a
Oh yeah,
shark sea monster type of flick. This proves
this
that
this would
even with
probably be like a
nudity,
PG This would probably be like a PG-13
13,
nowadays, just
because I
because of
believe
the
there's a
blood.
little bit of nudity in here too, which was kind of shocking. I think
Yeah,
you saw
it's
like a
like
nude scene.
it's a very tiny
Very
amount.
tiny, but it's like, and you look at the ratings like PG. It
But I
shows
mean,
female.
Titanic has nudity in it, so
I guess it did. Yeah, it did when she was posing. And Sheena with I forgot her name for Sheena from
and 16
Robert.
Candles,
16 can six, yeah, 16 Candles. Okay, I think her
which
name
I
was
believe is still
Robert.
PG.
Yeah, but when
And
Sheena
that
has
one,
a topless scene with her, and that's still PG. But yeah,
and of course there's Airplane.
and Airplane. Yeah,
Just
Airplane
in
is a
terms of movies that are PG yet still have nudity in them.
mm-hmm. Beastmaster. That one. That one had nudity too, I believe. Yeah, and that's still just PG. So
Yeah,
amazing.
though I think Titanic only got away with it because it's considered art. Because
Oh, okay.
she's posing for an
Yeah,
art piece.
but it's still nice to look at.
Because
That's nice art.
you can probably show a statue of Zeus or whatever hanging dong all
Yeah,
day, but
yeah.
that's because it's
And
a
it's okay.
statue.
Right. But see, I'm sure if it was a dude posing in Titanic and you saw his dong hanging, that's where things maybe change. Maybe it won't be.
Yeah,
That's going to be considered more of like a hardcore nudity. Because with her, I think you just saw like her
her breasts.
breasts and the pubes. I think. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Yeah, you saw that.
but, that's
Yeah, yeah,
just a little comment about nudity in
yeah.
film. It's very interesting.
Mm,
But yeah, Jaws. I mean, I guess it's like it's a very small amount of nudity that you barely even see because it's
yeah,
so dark.
yeah,
Because I believe you're talking about the opening scene.
yeah, yeah.
It's you can like I'm sure if you went frame by frame and like zoomed in, you might be able to see it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But no, it's not that visible.
No,
And
it is
how
not.
like I think this would primarily be considered PG-13 nowadays, just because of the
Because of that,
blood.
because of the blood, and maybe not so much, I guess, the nudity, but still, maybe all those things add together would bring it like to a PG-13.
Yeah. Which I mean, hey, it's done really well, and I think it's one of those things. It's an also like Jurassic Park, where they had all those issues with the shark animatronic, though it actually worked in its favor and kind of
Yeah,
added to like the timelessness of the film, because you rarely see
right,
the shark. You're
right.
always
I mean,
seeing it from the shark's perspective.
right, and when you do see it, even though it's animatronics, like because something is physically there, you believe it. You can tell when it's like CG. Not saying CG looks fake. You can see like look at the dinosaurs and stuff or anything with CG. You it's CG because it's still not looking absolutely real. It's just something where you can tell it's not like a practical effect or a real like a animatronic or puppet work or something that's physically there.
Though I will
Um,
say there are instances that, at least nowadays, that definitely look like you can't tell.
Really good. Mm. Oh, okay, okay.
I mean, hell, like Blade Runner 2049. So much of that is CG. For me, could barely
Mm-hmm.
tell.
I've seen that movie like one time. I mean, it to me, I just thought it was like okay, because to me, it eventually got boring. I think it dragged out too long, and even the original Blade Runner, I thought was a superior film to that. Any kind of cut, really, of that, final cut, director cut, whatever. Um, I just like, and it was not nearly as long as this one was, and I felt the powers in that. I don't want to get too much into it because we're under time constraint, but I'll just say I just felt like the powers seemed inconsistent. Like one scene, he's going through, running right through the marble wall, like the Kool-Aid Man, and then next fight he's struggling against, like, I know he's fighting maybe another robot, another replicant, but when they show that fight, I know they're trying to showcase that they're fighting on even ground. Because I brought this up. I saw this with Lisa and I saw it with my brother, and I think, and then Lisa said, "Yeah, but they were both." She was a replicant too, or he was. I can't remember now who. Like I said, one time fought another replicant. At the end when the water was filling up, and they were fighting for the final confrontation. And if they were both replicants, okay, so maybe that's why he's struggling. But the fight would look more godly when they just looked like there were two humans going at it. I understand they're trying to show, okay, but if one was a human and the other one was a replicant, then he would get dominated. But when you have two replicants fighting, you don't have to lower the battle to look like human standards. Look at whenever Terminator fights another Terminator. That doesn't look like a regular fight against human. When two Terminators fight, it looks godly, like two gods are fighting. Like he's bashing through walls and his head's going through concrete. Like the female Terminatrix picks him up and he's like ramming him through all the concrete, and then all the, what I'm talking about. The fights are they move godly, and the moves are godly, and the damage they take are godly to each other. So that's what I'm saying. So it didn't. You go from bashing through marble in one scene in the hideout of Harrison Ford. So that's like take some power, but then it seems like that got diminished drastically when they're fighting. So that's kind of threw me off. But anyways, getting back to Jaws. Or were you done with that?
Yeah. I mean, there's not much to say. I mean, if you haven't seen it already, then
Then
what the
watch
hell
it.
are you doing?
Yeah, absolutely. And I have it on. I have it right there. It's only a Blu-ray, but it's very top-notch transfer. Absolutely.
Yeah, of course, I
Yeah,
got it. I got it on the good
you got
old
it in 4K.
4K.
Yeah, of course.
Um, but yeah, not
Okay.
much to say. It's classic.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay. So I guess let's try to move along, and I'll try to
your
go
next.
on mine. I'm going to try to go super quick now because we really gotta. Okay, so the
Ass
2010
kick.
film, Kick Ass, and Aaron Johnson, Nicolas Cage. a real show stealer, Nick Cage in this one, and same goes for Chloe Grace Moretz. I thought the younger roles of Chloe Grace Moretz when she was in stuff like this, and when she was in stuff like um, Little Wicked Little Things, and like Let the Right One In, movies in this era when she was like younger to like teen, preteen. I thought her acting chops were like a lot better, and the kind of role she received was better. But this one, of course, this is what if like regular people like you and I become superheroes. And even though I know it's meant to be like the reality take on what it would be like, it's still, of course, fake. Yeah, as much as I would like to pretend that shit's real, it's not. And you can just see the stuff that Hit Girl does and stuff. But both Nick Cage um, and Chloe Grace Moretz were the show stealers in this one. Next to them, then there was Mark Strong as Frank D'Amico, great. Christopher Mintz-Plasse, I don't really see so much of him. I never saw Superbad. I thought he was pretty good, in this.
Oh, Superbad
Um,
is fantastic.
Superbad's fantastic. Then that's one of them I got to see. But him
I mean, it's
being
not even like a remotely similar character, but
oh, okay, okay,
because he's like in Superbad, he plays like this super wimp that somehow
yeah,
keeps getting lucky.
really, okay. Well, here's a wimp too. You've seen this one,
Oh
right?
yeah, but nowhere in the same degree of wimp.
Oh no, 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 we're in the same degree of wimp. Okay, okay. And the mother, let me just make sure her name. I could have sworn I seen her. How do I oh, oh, here we go. The mother,
Which mother?
or the mother of Christopher Mintz-Plasse, and the wife of Mark Strong's character. Um I could have
I have
sworn I'd
no
seen
idea.
her in the witch glove, or witch something with witch, a witch, not Witcher series, but it's like witch gauntlet, or witchcraft, or witch series, and it's based off of a comic book. And I could have sworn that was her, but that's not important. But anyways, yeah, I'm just gonna end it right there. And if you want to see a film where like kind of like a satire on what it's like for ordinary people to be superheroes, um, you got to check out Kick Ass. It's very rude and crude, as you can say, with very
Yeah, very.
strong language.
It's like so it's like a very like gritty and raunchy take on like superheroes.
Yes, there it is. Absolutely. Because especially with a lot of the swearing and hardcore swearing coming from Chloe Grace Moretz, I won't repeat the stuff just because it's more shocking if you haven't seen it and you watch the movie, and you'll see what I mean. But I will say her action sequences are some of the greatest and grandest. Even Kick-Ass himself is pretty decent. Um, and they're entertaining to watch. He does kind of get like slightly better, but to be honest, I think he's like becomes a better fighter in the second one. But it's really it's standout that it's Chloe Grace Moretz as Mindy McCready, aka Hit Girl. She's like the top number one fighter in this one, of course, followed by Big Daddy, Nicolas Cage. He was great, and his impression of like of an Adam West Batman, that's too bad, with the one thumb. I think it was like right here. That's too bad because you have potential. Well, Hit Girl, back to headquarters, and his imitation. I can't do it, but as best I can do it. I got to get more into the mood. But Kick Ass, if you haven't seen it, see it.
All right, and all right, and we're about to go speed round here because I just took a look at your list, so we're gonna be able to cut down on some time here.
Okay, okay.
So
Oh,
I'm
you
gonna do
saw my
my
list quickly. Okay.
yeah. I
Yeah.
just took a quick peek. So my next is another animated film because you got to remember I watched a
Yeah.
lot of animated films as a kid,
Oh no, absolutely.
and this is a lot of these really had a long lasting impact with me. This is one of them. This was this like when I was a kid, I had like like 10 or so VHS tapes that I watched the hell out of, and I had like Lion King, I had Toy Story,
Oh
I
yeah.
had some Scooby Doo movies, I had Willy Wonka,
Oh,
and I had The Iron Giant.
this was such a lovely, beautiful, beautiful Superman. And I
Yeah,
was just
it
like,
is fantastic, and I
Superman, oh, I
again
blew up to
seeing
pieces.
seeing
Ah.
this director again that we just saw with Ratatouille, Brad Bird.
Oh, really? It's the same guy. Oh, Brad Bird. Okay.
Yep, that's one of the things I really enjoy about Brad Bird is that Brad Bird doesn't like, I guess, kidify his movies that much.
Oh,
Like
we
he
have
can
heart.
very he like even like the Incredibles movies,
Hmm.
like they don't talk down to the audience. It's always like
No.
there's always like a certain level of like maturity to it. I
Yeah.
guess you could say like a kid watches Iron Giant and the things they see is like, giant talking robot. As
Yeah.
an adult, you see this whole Cold
Everything.
War Cold War dynamic of the Russians versus the
Yes.
United States and the whole fear
Yes.
mongering
And
of
the fear of because of the army and when they came in and their fear.
yeah, and you see the whole like the whole feeling of dread. I guess we're gonna get into spoilers here. I guess
It's
the
okay.
whole
It's to be
yeah
expected for this.
the whole feeling of dread when what's his name, I forgot his name. The
What the heck?
frickin' pussy guy, the frickin' guy with the orange hair, when he launches the
Oh,
missile,
yeah. It's kind of been a while since
and
I tried.
it just kind of this whole feeling of dread goes over the entire town as they realize there's this whole missile about to hit their whole town, all because of him, all because
Oh,
he refused to back down,
right. Yeah.
like free because he didn't want to be wrong.
But that's what caused. Yeah, that's what
Oh, it was
caused the
a
Iron Giant to
Mansley. That's what
fly.
his name was. It was Mansley.
Mansley. Okay. Well, hey, Emmett Walsh's voice is in here. Okay.
I
Yeah.
think it was
Um,
Kent Mansley.
hmm.
But yeah, that was, and I love the whole scene where the Iron Giant like chooses to
Sacrifice
sacrifice
himself.
himself because to
Yeah.
him that's what a true hero would do in this
Right.
situation. He's the only one
The boy
capable of
really
doing it.
really influenced his I don't want to say upbringing, but his development, I guess, went from introducing him to the
Yeah,
Superman comics, and that was a real the look of that comic was a Superman action comic number one,
you, yeah,
and
you stay, I go, no
yes,
following.
yeah, but
Uh,
little secrets. It's a good thing he can pull himself back together, which we saw earlier, right, in
yeah,
the
and
film.
the whole scene where they encounter the dead deer. That's like, and you kind of see that change in the Iron Giant. He's like being exposed to these
The death,
violent tendencies.
yeah,
It's beautifully done,
absolutely, and
and I
beautiful.
love what's his name, Dean. Dean, the biker art, like
Oh yeah,
hipster
with the dark,
artist
yeah,
guy that they
yeah,
come
yeah, yeah.
across. He was
I like
great.
that guy. He was absolutely. He was great. Oh yeah.
Do
The
you see that over there? That is trash. This, what you have in your mouth, is art.
oh yeah. It's been a while, but yeah, I remember things like that, and but some of the little details I may have forgotten. But yeah, and I think I remember. Was there like a train wreck scene?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's a train wreck scene.
The giant tries to eat the train tracks because they're made out of
Yeah,
metal, and
yeah,
he
yeah.
tries to have, and he's like trying to get it perfectly right back together before the train comes,
Right.
and
Oh yeah,
he
yeah.
gets freaking gobsmacked in the side, but he's able to
Pull
repair
himself
himself.
together again. And there was a scene when he was trying to elude the mother, like the boys in the house, and the giant is like kind of circling the house or something like that, was it? And
Yeah,
then
the giant, the hand,
the
one of
hand.
one of his
That's what it was.
hands is like
Yeah,
crawling around the house.
he's trying to elude keeping the mother in the dark. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, this was great, and the animation that's another great thing to point out because I
yeah.
love animation like this too because it kind of reminds me of it like harkening back to like the old MGM, Fred Quimby and Tom and Jerry's and Droopy's
I mean,
and how
this
they used
is
to
Warner
animate things
Brothers.
like it is Warner Brothers, okay,
Yeah,
but how they everything's like really meticulous in detail, and it has that old school look to it and like kind of like water washed slightly and had that old look, and I just love that because it fits with the time, and as you can see, 1957, and the Tom and Jerry's were like 50s cartoons, um, the old theatrical shorts when those are the things that would play before a movie back in the day. But yeah, that's my input on that.
yeah, yeah. I absolutely love this film. It's probably my wait, no, I was gonna say it's my favorite non-Disney animated movie, but that's a lie, and
Hmm.
we will get into that later.
Okay, okay, yeah,
But
and
yeah, I
it
saw
will
your
make you
next.
cry a little bit.
Yeah, oh yeah, this will make you cry. Um, but yeah,
Hmm.
our next one is
Oh
funny,
yeah,
quite interesting
is it the
because
same as yours?
it's
Really?
literally my next. It's literally my next.
We both can talk about this. Okay, I'll briefly just say, come on. This is who I mean, Beauty and the Beast is a story that tells a tale as old as time, and it tells a tune as old as song. These two, they're barely even friends, and then someone bends unexpectedly. Um, just there's just like a little change as you're watching it. It's very small to say the least. Both are a little scared. Neither one of them, Belle or the Beast, are prepared. It's Beauty and the Beast. Ever just the same, ever just as sure, um, ever
As the
just as
sun may
sure
rise.
as the sun may rise. Uh,
Yeah, I see what you're
yeah,
doing there.
yeah, I'm trying to wagon phrase just saying the words, but anyways, yeah, this is great. Every single song to me in here hits home. Um, the one that's kind of like a Christmas song. There's something sweet and almost
And almost
kind. Yep.
kind, but he
But he
was
was
mean and he
mean
was,
and he was
coarse and
coarse and
unrefined.
unrefined, and now he's
When
sweet
I
one.
see, and now he's
And
dear
dear,
and so unsure.
Lord, this
I, I
this
don't
was
know why you
something to
couldn't see it there
say
before.
before. Da-na-na-na. She glanced this way. I thought I saw. Sing along with me. And then he
No,
touched the other
it's
half my paw. But yeah, yeah, I won't sing on. But
it's
everything.
a fantastic movie. Probably it is, this one is my favorite animated Disney movie, like specifically Disney, not from the Walt
Mm.
Disney Animation Studio.
This is a close one for me because I guess it can fluctuate in a way between Little Mermaid and this one, even though I know this is probably still better movie, but I have a special place for Little Mermaid because that was the one that first made me like really fall in love with it again for the modern times, in like late 80s, like you said. And like
Yeah.
we spoke about how it is like a renaissance for them. So when this came out, it's like, whoa, this is a real like a Disney. They got something real special here. And not only that, but back in the day, it kind of had a crush, being a preteen myself, kind of crush on Ariel, a cartoon character. So that was the thing. So that's why it resonated differently with me. Um, but yeah, getting back with Beauty and the Beast, it's every song. Angela Lansbury, in there singing the Beauty and the
Yep.
Beast song. Paige O'Hare,
And
and
correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure this was before they started like casting different actors for both
the singing.
uh the singing and the voice acting.
I
So
think it might be right because Jodie Benson was the
I believe Paige O'Hara is singing
Paige
her
O'Hara, yeah,
own
yeah, her
is
own
singing in
stuff.
it.
Yes, and just like with Jodie Benson singing and voicing Little Mermaid, and Sammy Wright as Sebastian the Crab. He
Yep.
voiced it and sang it. That is amazing.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
believe it
you're
was with
right.
Aladdin. They changed that with Aladdin.
Leah Salonga. Yeah,
Because
yeah.
in Aladdin, like a lot of the voices were like people from Full House, but they didn't sing it.
People from Full House, that show?
Yeah, there were.
The comedy
I think.
show? I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
the sitcom from the '90s. A lot of those were in the Aladdin. Did a lot of voice acting in Aladdin, but they didn't
I
sing.
did not know that. Yeah, when you say
Yeah,
Full House, are you talking about those twins, the Olsen twins? That
not. I
thing?
mean, not the Olsen twins specifically, but
No,
yes,
but
that
that
same
show.
show.
John Saget was his name, right? Or James Saget,
Uh,
or something
Bob
Saget.
Saget.
Bob Saget. Yeah, like that. But he was not in that one, right? Oh, but that's amazing.
No,
I'm completely
it was
amazed.
the voice of Aladdin.
Oh,
Um,
really?
Scott. Yeah, he was in Full House. Scott Wainer. Wanger. I don't know how to. I don't know how to pronounce
And
it.
he was like a main guy on Full House. I never really seen the show. I think
He was in Full House. That's all I know.
I remember there's like I didn't really see a whole lot of it. It's just whenever it came on. I think this is a show. There's one dude that really loves Elvis, so and you try to emulate him in every way, whoever he is. But yeah, but come on, Beauty and the Beast. Everything from the story of how Belle starts off with like she's kind of sacrificing herself to save her father, even though the father is much older. She doesn't care. She wants to get him out of that place, and the Beast just
Yeah.
being shocked by that little display of generosity on her part, and just everything from the relationship of him being like basically an asshole, and I don't know if you can say womanizer is the term, but kind of like when forcing to you would join me for dinner. That's not a request, like that kind of thing. So it seemed like a little womanizer kind of thing to me. I was being mean to her, and things like that, and then things changing, and there was like that simple act of kindness, and her coming back, when the rose was kind of falling apart, and then you had and he's looks like that, the Beast. He's not really ugly. He's a cuddly little thing, but I get it. I get what they mean. They're trying to show that it's inside that counts. And you look at Gaston, who's meant to be like this handsome dude, but yet
Yeah,
he's like just nasty inside. So that whole Gaston,
and
Gaston
that's
thing,
another thing. It's one of the, in my opinion, one of the best Disney villains in Gaston.
Gaston, yeah. Oh, what? Were you in love with her, Beast? Did you think that she would love you? Did you think she would actually want you when she could have someone like me? Right? And he's smashing the statues, but
Yeah,
because every statue was the Beast. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, it's just so great.
yeah. It's a
Everything.
fantastic movie, and that's
Yeah.
another one where I think, and Alan Menken did the score,
Alan Menken.
did the music for that one. He did a very good job. Alan Menken did a lot of great music in the '90s for Disney.
One of them died, and he died of like cancer or something. Up to a certain point, it was like Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast. I think it might have been up to maybe
I'm trying to remember
Aladdin.
his name. It was Aladdin, and I'm
It was
trying to
in
remember his
Aladdin.
name.
It
Because I
changed.
think there was a whole, yeah, they talked about it. I think it was Adam
Yeah.
Jacobs.
He
Maybe
was
wrong
the new
though.
guy.
It was. I don't think it was a new guy.
Who were the original two? I know there was like a duo a duo.
No, it was Howard Ashman. That's who it was.
Howard Ashman. Okay, so it was Howard Ashman and Alan Menken. Okay, they were a
Yeah.
duo for a long time, and then one of them
Yeah.
died, and then they had to get like a new guy, and people were worried like maybe the songs weren't going to be as good or something. It was still great, but yeah, I guess you can.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to see it any other way now because they're, to me, is like a part of history.
I mean, hell, Alan Menken went on to do the. I believe he did the music for Hunchback. So.
Oh, that's why it's such a lovely, and that's one of the more adult-oriented Disney musicals, not including something like the Black Cauldron, but yeah, and being able to use hell and burn in the fires of hell, very adult themed, and I love that. And that song that you have
Yeah.
memorized, the Hellfires, is great. But yeah, anything you got to add to Beauty and the Beast?
No.
Okay, yeah, let's move on to your next one, which
Or
I
well,
believe
no,
is
it'd be your next.
oh, it is my next. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
because my next was Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, yeah. This was like a two for. Oh, this is great. This is moving along nicely. Okay, so now, um, where am I? Oh, here it is. Okay, okay, I got that right. Okay, come with me, or there will be trouble. Come on. You got
Yeah, I have
Dick
seen this one
Jones.
though. I've only seen it once.
Oh yeah, Ronnie Cox. That was his name. He was in the what is his name? Uh, Alan. Oh, Albert Pion, Captain America in the 90s. I think it was exactly 1990. There was an old Captain America film, live action, directed by Albert Pion, who also did stuff like Nemesis, which I did seen that one now, like maybe about a couple years back, and it was pretty good. But Ronnie Cox, as Dick Jones was great. You got Kurtwood Smith as of course the delightful and sinister um, uh, Clarence Boddicker. I'm losing it. I'm losing focus here. Yeah, Clarence Boddicker and Peter Weller as RoboCop, and I think
Yep.
he did two of them, and the third one he didn't want to come back for it. I think he had trouble with this with the suit. He didn't quite like it. Nancy Allen, yeah, there she is. Nancy Allen, someone that was in Carrie as like that bitchy girl, and her being in here is fantastic. And she was also in the movie Blowout with Travolta, and that's on Criterion, and that's a great film. But I mean, Murphy, it's you. It's just so great how he gets that whole thing. I mean, back in the day, and I guess maybe even today, but maybe not so much because there's a lot more sick stuff. But the whole thing that happened to Murphy at the beginning before he became RoboCop, and the reason why he became RoboCop, when he got decimated and just torn to shreds, basically shot up, and I'm remembering him for some reason. Like, I'm sure when people reflect back on this, they remember him being more torn up than he actually was, but it was mostly he was shot up and his hand was blown off. But when you look at it again, it's still pretty bad. His hand gets blown off the first thing because of Clarence Boddicker. And then when they just shot him up, very violent and very, I guess you could say, like controversial kind of thing back in the day, like ultra violent. And when you get this on DVD and Blu-ray, I think Blu-ray, you can see the more unedited version where it's even more violent than before. But you have one guy, I think OCP, and he had another guy that was competing against like OCP, for the RoboCop program, and Dick Jones had his thing, and that whole scene. Yeah, I love it when he's like bad mouthing the competition, bad mouthing Dick Jones. He went something like, we used to call the boss funny names too, Iron Butt, Iron Butt, and I can't remember what the other one was. It was like Jerk Off or something like that. And once I even called him asshole, but there was always respect. We always knew where the line was drawn, and you just stepped over it, buddy boy. And then he's talking about how he spent a whole bunch of money on the parts. Who cares if it didn't work? What a prick, He just wanted to, sell it off because, when he showed the demonstration of his different alpha state and beta state of his RoboCops, something would always malfunction. Like one shot himself and one was like, because he used all psychos. But this guy, RoboCop, came from a good man, and that's why it worked. Great story there, I thought. I thought Peter Weller nailed it as RoboCop as well. Everyone in the respectable role was great, and of course, the strong suits aside from RoboCop himself. Typically people say, and I tend to agree, an action flick, sci-fi flick, whatever, anything with kind of action in it is only as strong as their villain, and such is the case with Dick Jones and his right-hand man, Clarence Boddicker, and his whole crew. This one just knocks it out of the park when it comes to, classic, ultra violent action sci-fi film created and directed in the Paul Verhoeven style. As you know, he always loves putting those ads and those commercials in front of his things. Look at Starship Troopers. Look at, and then of course they had like Showgirls. Look at Total Recall. You know, films like that. And then of course, you know, RoboCop. So there's my take on that. Got anything to add? Or
Not much. As the thing, it has been so long since I've seen it. I don't.
you've got to see it. See it
Oh
again.
no, I have seen it. It's just
No, see it again.
it's been so long. I have the Arrow Blu-ray.
Oh, you. Oh, the Arrow Blu-ray. Okay, because I think there was a DVD Criterion of this, but it didn't come to Blu-ray on Criterion, and I wonder if it ever will. And I hope it does. I know they have Armageddon, which, what's up with that title being on Criterion? They fucked up with that. But RoboCop, that's I'm good with. I'm good with that being on Criterion, and I do. Hope
I mean, the Arrow edition is great. So I'm not.
Can I still get that?
Hmm?
Can I still get that one?
Yeah, not the deluxe edition, but
deluxe.
the standard.
Yeah, I'll wait for it to come to Criterion.
if it ever does. I mean, you still get all the special features. You just don't get like the booklet and whatnot. The big, big booklet.
Oh man. Yeah. But okay, yeah, let's move right along.
Yeah, I do remember the Kurtwood Smith.
Yeah.
Because I remember watching him on that 70s show.
Oh yeah, that was the first time you seen him, and then you went back and saw RoboCop. Yeah. I see. Okay, and what a jarring difference, right?
Yeah.
It's like, just give me my fucking phone call, and that voice. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not making myself clear. I don't want to fuck with you, Sal. But I got the connections. I got the manpower. I got the muscle to shove this factory up your stupid wop ass that you'll shit snow for a year. Frankie blew this cocksucker's head off. Oh, guns. Come on, Sal. The Tigers are playing tonight. And I never miss a game. Just kidding. Yeah, it's just great. But okay.
All right. So, all right. Next one. It's another classic, and I mean, what more do I need to say? I mean, I know now why you cry, but it is something that I cannot do.
Oh, God. I know now why you cry, but it's something I could never do.
Yep, absolutely fantastic.
And it too
probably my favorite sci-fi movie.
And you will cry.
Like strictly sci-fi.
Yes.
Oh well.
This is so great.
Well, I guess no. There is one that is technically sci-fi up, like higher up on the list, but like in terms of like I don't know. In terms of sci-fi action, this is definitely it. This is my favorite.
Yeah, and with good reason.
Yeah, like even with all the CGI it uses, it's still done very well. I think with how they use I think it's kind of like how with Toy Story, like even though the CGI was not there yet, the fact that they chose to revolve a story around, something that looks plastic, it was much easier to get around that limitation. Kind of the same in this, how they're using metal. It was a lot easier to get around that limitation.
This was groundbreaking back in the day, when they created this, it was almost, maybe it seemed like it was experimental. They weren't sure how it was going to go. And it was just very new and innovative. And that's why you can see, like now when you look back at it, it's like a piece of history of how the early works of this kind of stuff was done, just like with the Toy Story, the very first one. You can see an evolution of how the CG of the Toy Story stuff look like compared to now. It's more detailed and more fleshed out looking and more detailed. So you can see all that. And just like with this, with Liquid Terminator Man, and then with the other ones, how they the morphing and like Terminator 3, and and the CG, even though the film itself may not be as good as this one, you can see the evolution of how the CG got better for that kind of like liquidy morphing effect. And yeah, I
Yeah,
remember that was
and
a big
I
deal.
think this one, and it goes a step further in the fact that this one, the action is very well
Dun, dun,
choreographed
dun,
in
dun,
this one,
dun, 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 dun. Yeah. Dun, dun, dun,
because
dun, 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 dun. Yeah.
like throughout the whole film, like I don't know how to explain this, like I don't know, it's just very well done. There's very rarely a scene that kind of feels like blah in terms of
Yeah.
like what you're seeing on the screen. There's
And even
always that, because
the
you
director
always
was great.
like there's like always like a very clear cut A to B in terms of like
Yes.
I don't I don't know how to explain it, like
Everything when telling the narrative, going from point A to point B, from going to driving away on his motorcycle, little kid motorcycle, away from the step parents, to go meet up with his friend, to steal the cash, to go to the mall, and then Liquid Terminator comes, T-1000 comes, and he's on the hunt, now hunting him. Terminator, when he shows up, at later time, and then it shows how he acquires his stuff, and also now it's a race to get to John Connor first. Now, when they reach John Connor, of course, it's Terminator who found him first, and now he's
yeah.
under his wing, and it goes from escaping there, and then escaping the mall, and then where's his next destination going to be? The T-1000. Oh, I have to go home to my step parents, foster parents, to warn them. No, negative. They're most likely already dead. And of course, the phone call thing, and then saying now we have to go rescue my mother. Once he discovered, of course, he's under his command, has to do what he
Yeah,
says.
and
Go
I
rescue
love that. I
my
love
mother.
that
I know
scene.
what you mean.
Like,
The
which
transition.
I should bring up. I think this film, it is definitely one of those films that, in my opinion, just like it's like a step above in every aspect to the
Yeah.
original film. Because like
Yes. Yes.
when I first watched, because when first watched Terminator, I watched them in order. So I
Okay.
started with the first one, and
Michael Biehn. Yeah.
I had no idea what Terminator 2 was about. So
Mm.
the only thing I'd seen of the movie was this poster.
Oh.
So whenever like and I'm glad because of that. Because since I knew nothing about the film, I didn't know that this was the good guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that just enhances that whole aspect of when you first see, Robert Patrick and Arnold Schwarzenegger, I was like, oh shit, here's, Arnold Schwarzenegger's back to kill John Connor. That's what
Right.
I thought. And I
Yeah.
love the whole setup of like, he's carrying around the package of roses.
Yes. Yeah.
I love that whole scene and the whole get down.
Yeah. Yeah. And,
I love that. I
that,
love that whole kind of like twist of like, this new Terminator being the
good.
bad guy, and
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's now the good
Yeah.
guy,
Yeah. And
and it kind of like
that's the
flips it
thing.
on its head. And I love the whole like the scene when the whole or well the whole arc of Sarah Connor having to
Yes. In
trust
the
this
hospital.
machine.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I love
See,
that.
that's the thing. I've always known Terminator, Schwarzenegger, to be always a good guy role, and back then, so that was like a weird thing for me to, oh, he's a bad guy in here, when seeing Terminator, the first one. And I remember when this was still on the cusp of still coming out, when they were just trailers. I didn't see the trailer for it, but I remember Danny Zorba, did, and this was in middle school, and we always sit next to each other, or we sat next to each other in class, and I think it was like home economics class, and we always talk about movies, right? And he's sitting next to me, and he's like, "Hey, Val, um, did you see the trailer for Terminator 2?" I'm like, "No." "Oh, it's called Terminator 2 Judgment Day." I was like, "Oh, really?" He goes, "Yeah, it's fucking badass, bro." And then he's telling me about it. It's like the trailer, you don't see much, but it's like, you see, I forgot his description of it. You see going through the machine, and then like a assembly line kind of thing, and then it said copy to copy, Schwarzenegger's face. They reused that thing. I forgot the word he used. Um, you just look at the old trailer, you'll know what I mean. It's like a teaser trailer for it, and then it shows like the eye, and then the robot, and then it goes Terminator 2 Judgment Day. I was like, oh wow, yeah, I remember him being like bad. So just like with you, I thought he was going to be bad too. You know what I mean? But yeah, I just remember that, how he's explaining me that teaser trailer of Terminator 2 Judgment Day back in like 1989 or 1990, somewhere between that range in middle school. This was like in 7th or 8th grade. I can't remember which, but it was middle school. And yeah, we just talked about all kinds of movies. He's the one who introduced me to Scarface. He's like, "Hey, have you ever seen Scarface?" Did I see Scarface back then, though? That might be a film I had seen before already, but it just had been so long. I think that's what it was. And he was telling me scenes, and it caused me to rent it again at the library to watch it. But yeah, he's always reciting the lines, just like, I guess that's why we got along, because we always like reciting lines, even back then. He's telling me the lines, yeah, he just got done sniffing up all this cocaine, and so the bullets weren't hurting him. So I take the fucking bullets, and all the bullets are hitting him. It's at the end. But anyways, enough of that. But yeah, Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Yep.
Just so
Absolutely
great.
fantastic. And
Mhm.
funny thing is, today they just announced Robert Patrick is supposed to be at a convention near me,
Oh,
like
oh,
in February.
wow. Oh,
So so hopefully I can go to that.
and get his autograph. Now, is
Yep.
he going to autograph things for free?
Probably not.
Shit, I was going to ask you if you could maybe bring a little something and then have him sign it and then send it my way if it was free. But forget it now. It's like, is it going to cost like maybe $5?
No, probably like 40 or 50.
Forget it. No, sorry. Okay,
Yep.
damn.
Yeah, that's how it goes. But yeah, I'll have to find something for him to sign.
Something. Nothing. You'll find any old thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because it's like I have Terminator 2 in 3D, but like the case it's in is like a lenticular, and that won't look
Oh,
good.
you don't want him to. And plus, with the Messalin ticket, I mean, something like that, it's going to make it worse. You might
Yeah,
think like having an autograph over it, it's not going to be good unless there's a place on the back or side where it's not a lenticular
and
part.
and that's the thing. I don't want it. Like the back would be good because his face is on the back, but it's like I'm not gonna be displaying the back.
No, you're going to be displaying the front.
Yeah.
You think, does this lenticular come out and then there's something?
No, it's glued.
Oh, forget it then. The only thing I could think of is if there was another part that detaches, have him sign that, and then when you display the lenticular, and then either next to it, or if you can slip it in I don't know, like a display case, you put it side by side to it. You know what I mean? And that would be the only way I would think of.
If I do, I'll probably just get like one of those pictures that they have at the table, like the ones that they have like already pre-printed of like scenes from the movie.
Oh yeah, yeah, and then you can be a companion to that,
Yeah,
to the
yeah,
lenticular.
yeah. That's T2.
Okay, is mine already set up? It is. Okay.
All right, and
Okay.
your next is
Forbidden Planet, starring a very young, I don't want to say very young, but young, pretty young Leslie Nielsen. You got Frances O'Connor, is it? Yeah, not Frances O'Connor. And Francis O'Connor. I think that was from Mansfield Park and from AI. Francis O'Connor, yeah, Leslie Nielsen, yeah, Walter Pigeon. Yeah, I'm forgetting names now. Yeah, this is such a great one. Leslie Nielsen, he, I think he gets like orders to evacuate this planet where Walter Pigeon and Walter Pigeon's daughter and Francis is on, and the ship they're in is a stereotypical flying saucer ship. I saw the special features, and they got this idea because they thought it's going to be like a fun idea. Because typically when we see alien films, it's the aliens that come in this kind of ship. But wouldn't that be kind of funny in a way if we, the humans, arrive in a ship like that, in a stereotypical flying saucer like that? So to get there and don't expect this to be like your typical. Have you seen this movie first of all?
Nope.
Forbidden Planet.
Hmm.
Okay, don't expect it to be like your typical like War of the Worlds or like cops and robbers or aliens versus space marines type thing where there's a clear cut bunch of aliens, evil aliens with laser guns, and then you have like a Star Trek thing. It's not quite like that. It's one entity. I don't want to spoil too much. It's one entity, and it's something to do with the technology that's on that planet. And I don't want to say where it spawns from, where this creature uh, um, originates from, and how it comes to be. But there's a whole secret thing behind it. Why? And that's really what it's about. It's not about the alien creatures, but that one piece of technology that they left behind and what is causing. So it's so great. And you have Robbie the robot, who's also in, I think there's a short on there called like The Invisible Boy or something like that. And I believe this Robbie the robot is like the building blocks and stepping stone to the robot from Lost in Space. But he's such a wonderful character and very has great utility because utility usage because he can kind of replicate like what you need like foods and stuff and drinks. So one of the soldiers um, on Leslie Nielsen's side asks, "Well, you can make copies of stuff. Can you make us more of this?" And it's like their alcohol beverage, they're like running low. He took it and he replicated like 100 of them. And it's like, oh, and then, so the crew like really loved that robot. And everyone gives like a fine performance, I thought. And there's a little thing going on now between uh, Leslie Nielsen and Francis and the home base where they're at. There's a technology there that creates like holograms, so the things they look real. Like they have animals there, like a tiger and like lion. One I can't remember. It might have been like a tiger, and he thought it was real, but it was just like an illusion, stuff like that. And the whole plot of it, the whole story is him trying to convince them to get off this planet. But then of course there's an attack that kind of throws him a monkey wrench into the whole plan, and now they kind of have to deal with that. And this all like culminates into a great showdown with let's just say, I think it's shields and our technology. We have like type of like laser, but it's not showcased as a typical laser. um, and but like kind of like a showdown between this entity and Leslie Nielsen's crew. Uh, Great, fantastic 1956 sci-fi film. One of my favorites. One of my favorites of the golden age era. It's like something like this one, The Day the Earth Stood Still. That's another great one. Earth versus the Flying Saucers. That's a Ray Harryhausen special effect one. Great one. This Island Earth. Come on. I mean, those are right there like a. I was going to say trifecta, but it's almost like a. What is like trifecta, but for four, like whatever you would call that, a quad, a quad. Is it quad? Quad is four, right?
Yeah, but
Oh,
I don't believe it's like called that.
okay, but you know what I mean, like a trifecta, but not a trifecta. It's like, but it's like dealing with four. So you got like something like if
Yeah.
you and I have all these films. So if you have Forbidden Planet, Day the Earth Stood Still, Earth versus the Flying Saucers, and this island Earth. What the hell? You can even go ahead and, I guess you could say, you can throw in something like War of the Worlds, but then I feel like if you throw in War of the Worlds, you may as well throw in um, Robinson Crusoe Goes to Mars, and both directed by Byron Haskin. But then where does it stop? So that's why I'm saying end it at those four, and which I have those other two, the Byron Haskin ones. But when you have those four, that right there is a great collection of some of the best that the 50s era had to offer for the golden age, at least has to offer for sci-fi films back in the day. But yeah, Forbidden Planet, one of my favorites.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. And my next, it's another Disney
Oh, of
movie.
course. Of course. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
But yeah,
It's going to be animated. Is it Toy Story? One of the Toy Story?
No,
Toy Story 2? Okay.
but it is Pixar.
It is Pixar.
It is one that how should I say? It's one. I guess it's like one of those, like, not as many. I've been seeing more hate for it than anything.
Really?
Like more recently, like it was highly praised when it came out, and I've just seen more and more hate for it as time went on. But I just
Cars.
don't understand why. To me, oh no, it's not Cars. It's definitely not Cars. Cars, Cars is okay, but it's like,
Okay.
no, definitely not top 75.
Okay.
But no, I'm talking about Inside Out.
Oh, really? I like that one. And it's getting more hate? That's a freaking good film.
Yeah.
I have that one back there. That's a freaking good film. Oh,
Yeah,
and Sadness, the blue one. Oh, she is absolutely darling. Look at her. I mean, how can you hate on that? Go on.
I love this movie. I think it's another one. It's a lot of what I love about Pixar is like the concepts they use and the way they execute them and like illustrate them is done very clever, and the plots that I guess they create surrounding these concepts it's the reason why I love Pixar and return to Pixar. It's like the stuff like Monsters Inc. and Incredibles.
Yes.
They take these kind of like novel concepts and kind of like explore them in kind of like a humane way, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Monster in the
So
closet, emotions thing from adolescence. Yes, yes. I see what you mean.
yeah, and I think this whole illustration of like the Riley trying to cope with moving and just her whole life changing. It's done very, very well, and I think the lesson that it teaches and how we need to embrace, like, being happy all the time is not healthy. You need to know when to cry. You need to know when to be angry. All these emotions are at their core healthy to have, but you need to know when to use them so that you remain sane,
and that
remain
is why
healthy.
I love watching sad movies, because I let it out. I will watch these scenes over and over, even if it's not quite sad, like Wish Upon a Star with Wish Upon a Star. That it's I don't think it was Disney, but that one starred. Hold on, who's the girl from Under Siege 2? And she was in like one of those medical shows. But anyways, Wish Upon a Star, and it stars Danielle Harris, and I can't remember the other girl. But that's not sad, but it brought a tear to my eye. Happy ending, but it still brought a tear to my eye. Happiness.
And I gotta say that the ending. Hell, this is one of those Pixar movies that I cried 2 times.
Oh yeah,
like the first time when I mean, spoilers, but when her imaginary friend disappears. He's
Yeah.
becomes forgotten. And the scene when, you know, Riley runs home and reunites with her parents, and like she finally, like, she's been deprived of all these emotions throughout the film, and then she finally, you know, breaks down and cries. You know,
Mm,
I
man.
love that moment
One
because
time,
it's
and I
like,
gotta see it again. So I
hmm?
forgot. I've only seen it one time, and like I said, I own it, so I've got to see it again.
Yeah,
I got some of these
because
little.
it's because it's the whole thing. Because, you know, Joy, you know, they're like, all right, Joy's finally here. She can fix
Yeah,
everything, but she's like,
right.
no,
But you didn't fix everything.
sadness needs to fix. Because
Right.
it's like you can't deprive yourself of sadness. It's like you're just bottling everything up. So you need to, like, you need, you know, everybody
Right.
needs a good cry, and that's when, like, she finally, you know, Riley finally gets that. She
Yeah.
gets that moment, and I really love the way that is done.
Yeah. You make me want to see this one again. And just for the record, when I do kind of cry, I try to. I like to see these things on my own, and like do it when I'm alone. Like kind of like right now, the door's locked and I can do it. But like sometimes you get me off guard, like especially if it's a film I haven't seen before, and it does it, and I'm with other people. I'm just like, fuck. You know, I can feel I'm getting choked up. I'm like, fuck. Excuse
Yeah,
me. And I
imagine
have to
how
go to
I
the
felt.
bathroom.
Imagine how I felt watching Coco in the theater.
Yeah. Did you go to the bathroom or something to try to hide
No,
that?
I had to stay there.
You just did it, and you were right there. Yeah, you see what I mean. You know how that is,
But
especially when you're a
that was
friend.
that was a fully packed theater too.
Yeah. It's just how it is. I don't know what to say. I don't feel comfortable doing that shit. Now, like for example, my mom watches something said and she does it, and I'm like, oh man. And it kind of makes me feel uncomfortable. Like when I see other people crying, I'm like around it from something said, it makes me feel slightly uncomfortable. Yeah. And that's why I know how that feels, and I feel even more uncomfortable to do it. So like I can't. I don't know. I gotta just kind of be all by my lonely and kind of do it. Um,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
why.
I've done it with the
That's the
Pixar
thing.
stuff.
Whenever,
So
like, I watch a Pixar movie, I gotta be like, well, I'm probably gonna be crying, so
yeah,
gotta
so
prepare myself for that.
this is one I got to
I don't know
see
what it is like
on myself.
Pixar's freaking got me by the balls here.
Yeah, like look at that, and even the Disney shit too, like the cartoon stuff. Beauty and the Beast. That
Oh
can do
yeah,
it. I mean, that,
I did tear up at the end of Encanto.
yeah, and Kanto, but that wasn't an animated, was it? Was it animated?
No, that's the newest animated Disney.
But it's not CG like Toy
It
Story.
is,
It's
you know, it is CG. It's
okay.
by the, it's, you know, like Moana and, you know, Frozen, like that.
Yeah, okay, no, I'm talking about like even like the classic animated stuff like Beauty and the Beast, Cinderella type stuff, the animated era. And the last one I think might have been, with the exception of is it called Enchanted with Amy Adams? Wasn't it the Princess and the Frog? And then like it seemed like it was
Yeah,
going to be a comeback.
unless you count Winnie and the Pooh. Well, Winnie the Pooh, not Winnie and the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh. That was live action with
No, no, you're thinking of Christopher Robin. I'm talking about
oh
Winnie the Pooh.
uh, which Winnie
No,
the
there
Pooh?
was a Winnie the Pooh movie made by Walt Disney Animation, like right after Princess and the Frog,
Oh, I must have
and
not
that
heard of
was
that.
fully animated. It was theatrical. It was.
Oh,
That was the last theatrical animated film from Walt Disney Animation Studios.
oh, okay. Maybe I have to see that one too. Even the Winnie the Poohs make me cry. I should have called it. I should have called it Pooh Corner. Or no. I should have called it Piglet Corner. They're looking for Piglet. Did you see that one? I should have called it Piglet Corner. And then the sad music and I can't do it again. I lack the vocals for it, the vocal cords of the instruments. But and sometimes the one with the music, I'm feeling a little choked up, but I'm not gonna cry. But I'm just saying when I heard that and the sad music comes on and he should have called it Piglet Corner, and he's just because Pooh. You don't think it, it's all kind of cute. You can never be mad at Pooh or any of the Pooh characters, but you can see how he's kind of like almost like their version of bullying, kind of like Piglet, because he's just a little guy. Can Pooh Do you think maybe we can call it Piglet's Corner? I think we shall call it Pooh's Corner. Yes, and then Piglet gone missing, and then I should have called it Piglet Corner. And I'm watching this, I'm like, and it's really and then more and more sad stuff happens, and it compounds with the last sad stuff. I haven't recovered from that one and more. And then when it gets happy, and then I just can't take it. You know what I'm saying? even Christopher Robbins, that live action movie. Oh, he's like, I'm feeling it, but and when I remember watching this again, like a year and a half ago, just to see that part, and he's like, you are a bear of a very little brain. He was yelling at him, and he's like, oh, and then he goes off sad, and I'm just like, oh fuck, and then I'm feeling it, and at the end, I was wrong to call you when I said that you were a bear of very little brain. You are the bear with the biggest heart, and all that, and and it's just and he goes, do you know what today is? Today is my favorite day. I'm glad it was today, because yesterday was too much day for me. Silly old bear. And it's just that whole, and the music, at the end, and it just it's just like with the cartoons. You know what I'm saying? It makes me
Yeah.
tear up. And just hearing the whole dialogue, I can't do it. It's been a while now, but if you were to watch that scene again, when he scolds him at first in the rain, saying how he's a bear of very little brain, and later on, he felt like, fuck, I shouldn't. It's just like in real life, when you say shit to people, and then you feel bad about it later. Or what's even worse, you say something, you leave on bad terms, and then that person dies. Now you can't fix it. You know what I'm saying? I hate that shit. And that's why, make peace with everyone and be cool, and don't say bad things to other people. And it's stuff like Christopher Robbins, Winnie the Pooh, that cause you to think twice, to not say bad things, especially when he's like maybe a former friend or a girl or whatever. You don't want to say bad shit. And because if the person dies or whatever, and just like with Toy Story, had that, certain things like that teaches us that. Toy Story teaches us not to get rid of our toys because they have a life, and then when you get rid of them, don't you feel sad? Now the toys are broken, and you see when they go to the trash and they become twisted and mangled. You don't want to like abuse your toys. Look at with that fucking asshole Sid, when he manipulated and fucked up his toys, and now they're all mutants.
Yeah.
So it's the Disney knows how to grab at the heart and knows how we feel and what we do, and how to capitalize on that. And I don't know if they're doing that to torture us or we're just torturing ourselves, but it's rooted in reality, and we feel it, and I fucking feel it. Anyways, back to Inside Out.
I mean, hey, it's at least it's all related, because hell, even Onward made me tear up a bit.
Yeah, the last day with the father, he couldn't. And what I love about that, how the younger boy wanted to desperately see his father again, to say goodbye or talk to him again or something like that, but it was the older brother who never had that chance, so he gave it to the older brother to do it, and he can kind of peer in the thing to see it
a
little bit. And that right there, when I saw it, I was just like, again, very sad, and
I love that. And I don't know if you've seen Soul. That one was really good.
Oh, I gotta see Soul.
Yeah, Soul is by the same guy who did Inside Out. It's Pete Docter.
Pete Docter. Okay.
So it's like it's very heavy on like the symbolism.
Yeah, the symbolism of the sad. It's just I know how that is all too well, and I love it. Yes.
I mean, hell, the whole point of Soul is like about the meaning of life. So it's it's very heavy.
Oh.
Yeah, that Soul was very, very good.
It's just like with Remember the Titans. Remember that one? Remember the Titans? That's a Disney thing too, live action.
I haven't seen it.
Okay, go see Remember the Titans, and there's a part, and Ryan Gosling had a part in there, and but it's like it's like during the time of like the racial diversity kind of thing and the prejudice, and mixing in with the whites and the blacks. And for the football thing, and finally when they all come together, and it's like I was hating on my brother, and when I saw that whole thing again, just very sad, and even when it's a best of the best, Eric Roberts film, 1989, and um, uh, James Earl Jones, and that whole thing when at the end, he goes, and he's talking in fucking Korean, and he's like, oh, whatever, and it translates, oh no, he spoke in English for this. It's like, for someone to have chance to take death blow to win the fight, because he spared him. He could have like hit him. The white guy could have hit the Korean guy, and take advantage of his crippledness, but he didn't. And he just kind of retracted and forfeit and lost because he didn't want to take any other blow. And the Koreans ended up winning, and then the white people, they lost, the white team, to show mercy to someone, spoken English, and shows great honor. And then you see Eric Roberts like, and he's crying. I'm sitting there fucking watching this shit, and I'm crying. I'm like, you have to see it, and you get all choked up. And when you feel it, and then both the Koreans and the whites, they come together and they all hug, and it's just much love. And I just I love stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, let's move on. Yeah. Yeah, this one, maybe not this one, but yeah, Empire Strikes Back. It was Return of the Jedi that brought a tear to my eye at the end. So I'm not going to leave you, Father. It's like, take this mask off, but you'll die. Nothing can stop that from happening now. And just the whole thing made me cry when he's like hobbling, and he's kind of trying to help Darth Vader, his father, to get off the ship. For once, I want to see you with my own eyes, tell your sister she was right. I'm watching that fucking thing, and I'm tearing up. Let's get to Empire Strikes Back. This was a great one. I mean, this had like some of the best action, great romance. Of course, you can see it in the picture with Han Solo and Princess Leia, and the whole revelation at the end. I know there's going to be spoilers, but at this point, when it's revealed that Darth Vader is the father of Luke, when he said like, well, you killed my father, but no, he said, I am your father, and that whole thing, and the lightsaber duel, and this is the one where you first meet Yoda, and is it the one where you first meet Yoda? Yeah, because he's training, yeah. And you'll notice in this one, he's a little bit smaller, and he was a little bit bigger in Return of the Jedi. But yeah, to me is my favorite of the original trilogy. Of the Star Wars. I just loved it all, and the introduction of Lando, and yeah, is everything okay?
Yeah, it just fixed.
And yeah, that's all I really have to say. I just thought this had just the best overall appeal of the original trilogy. Maybe like sometimes folks might complain with the first Star Wars. Oh, okay, great story and everything, but maybe the action was a little dull and it wasn't so great. And I thought that lightsaber fight scene with Obi-Wan and Vader was like kind of crap. It wasn't that great, and it didn't choreograph things so well. Return of the Jedi had a great lightsaber duel battle at the end, but maybe some folks didn't like the Ewoks. I thought this one had the balance of both things. Like there's almost really nothing to hate about this one. Even though the whole original trilogy was great, this was the one that maybe can appeal to everyone because there's nothing.
The lightsaber battle was great at the end.
Yeah, absolutely, it was. What do you got to add to it?
I mean, we've technically discussed this one before.
Oh, we did. Okay.
Yeah, because I had this one in my in my list.
But
way earlier. We probably talked about it, like a year ago.
Oh yeah, a year ago. Okay, let's move right along. I can't believe we're hitting like 2 hours. I thought we were gonna be a little bit over only an hour. Let's go on.
Oh no, the more closer you get to the top of the list, the more you got to say about each one.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. I like that.
All right.
Okay.
So my next is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Now we can talk about Spider-Man.
Okay, now we can talk about Spider-Man. Absolutely. Okay.
This is undeniably my favorite, you know, my favorite comic book movie. It's
Really?
yeah, it
And that
is.
includes the live action stuff.
Yeah,
Wow.
it is. I
Wow.
mean,
I mean, I
it's
thought this was
just
great, but wow.
it is. I mean, I honestly can't find any faults with it. And it's another one of those that I've only loved more on rewatch. Like
I
I love
this
the
one.
whole I love the whole hip hop aesthetic and how it's like very unique to this Spider-Man and
Yeah.
how they don't try to overshadow, you know, you know, Miles Morales is his own
Miles is great.
Spider-Man.
Yes.
He's his own person. Like they don't
Yeah.
it's not served as a replacement. Or well, not a replacement in the terms of who of like Spider-Man. I don't know how to explain it. Like within his dimension,
Yes, his
like he
verse.
he
Yeah.
is he is the Spider-Man.
Yes.
But
And you see to it like how that kind of happened.
yeah, and I love that whole thing. I love how they went like they actually went for it and like, spoilers if for anybody who hasn't seen the movie again. But
Right.
there was the whole thing Spider-Man actually dies in this movie like
Yeah.
right at the beginning of the film, and
Kingpin.
I thought that was like really hard hitting, very impactful. And I love the whole, relationship between Miles and his father and how,
Yeah.
they really set that up well. Of it kind of puts this whole weight of expectations on Miles because now he's been given this whole burden of being Spider-Man while given a father who doesn't really want that from him.
Yeah. And I loved all the multitude of Spider-Mans that come.
Oh
And of
yeah, and
course,
the
Spider
action
Pig.
is spectacular. It is
Action was great.
absolutely fantastic, and I love the colors. I love the aesthetic.
Female
It
Doctor
is.
Octopus,
Oh
everything.
yeah, the female Doc Ock was fantastic. I love how it came out of nowhere, but it
Yeah.
was so great.
But was it Mary
And
Jane or was it Gwen Stacy that was one of the
it was
Spider-Man?
Gwen Stacy, the
Was Gwen
Spider
Stacy
Gwen.
the Spider-Gwen?
And
I
that's the
love
thing.
that.
You can look up all that stuff. All those
Was in the
different
comic.
variations are in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
They've had lines for like comic lines for all of those, including Peter Porker.
Yeah, well, Spider Ham, not Spider
Yeah.
Pig, but Spider Ham. I remember that was like a joke thing. Like something when I would get my comics, and it would be like a little like a short inside the comic being
Yeah.
advertised, featuring also in his own little mini. It's like a comic of something else, like another Spider-Man comic book or something else, Captain America. But in the corner, there'd be like featuring Spider Pig, but not in that story. It's like at the end, after the real main feature, then either at the beginning or the end, it would be like a little few pages of Spider Ham, and it's like a little comic thing. And there's Furbishman. There's another guy with a bucket for his helmet, bucket with the holes cut out. Furbishman.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I love this film, and it's like that's the thing. Hip hop isn't like even my favorite music genre, but I think it's done so
very well.
well in this film, and it's like
Yeah,
it really gives an identity to the character, Miles Morales of this film. And like Sony did a freaking fantastic job with the both
and
the transfer and the
yeah,
audio. The audio sounds fantastic.
and I'm used now to this type of animation. Before, I guess what it is when I saw it in the trailer, it was kind of like weird to me. But when I actually saw the film itself, I don't see it as a different type of CG animation. Like it's like an artistic style, like a thing done by choice, and it's
Yeah.
beautifully animated and beautiful fluidity of the movie. Like that's the thing. When I saw the trailer, I was a little. It seemed like I was slightly thrown off by the fluidity of movement, but you just actually have to see the film, and it's
Yeah.
perfectly fine.
I think I've
You
seen people have that complaining about how it's like, oh, that it's like too jerky and whatnot. It's
yeah,
like
like a
that's
jerky,
animation.
but
You
that's
can
an
go to
animation.
old Disney films and they have that too. Like
Yeah, but just
like
because it's CG,
some of the short films have that. Some of the short films from Disney's output. There was actually a 2D animated short film before Encanto.
Mm.
That was, and that one was, that one wasn't super fluid. That was,
Yeah, it was. I want to say like Wallace and Gromit, but not even quite like that. It's more better
yeah.
than that.
The way it's
It
done in this film,
was
it's done
different
on purpose to
to be
emulate a
emulate a
comic
Wallace
book
and
style.
yes, maybe that's what it was. And to be quite honest, I like that. I
Yeah,
like that
it's
a lot.
kind of like you're flipping through the pages of a comic book, and
Yes,
it's done in that exact style.
I like that.
And I think it's done fantastic. I mean, hell, they even have all the the words.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if I own
It,
this one.
you gotta. It's fantastic.
Did I ever buy that? I don't know if I did. I don't think I did. I don't think I bought
Well,
this
I
one. I know a
mean,
lot of
maybe
things
I'll
on.
look out. I'll look out for it for you on Christmas.
Oh, please. Okay. Thank
That's
you.
why
I
you need to
gotta.
send me. You need to send me the
Yeah,
pictures.
I gotta do that too. And I know I shared in a group that it's. Did you see in the group page, the guild page, where I said I'm getting I'm upgrading my 6-string samurai with that Vinegar Syndrome release of it with the
Yeah.
magnetic box. Good thing I didn't order. I did not order it because I didn't quite have the cash. I mean, I do have some, but like I refrained from getting it because it would really drain me, and especially because I'm like I said, I'm still trying to get something for you and a few other people as well.
Yeah.
And some things might not make it in time for certain people, like on Christmas, but you're one of the people I'm thinking of. So I got to get you a little something, but it's going to be really hard for me to get a film for you. That's going to be really difficult. I don't want you to have to go take pictures, because I'm doing it.
Or
And then,
you can just look in my. I
we'll
could
get
just
your
send you
website.
my
Okay.
Blu-ray.com collection.
Yeah, okay, that's even better. I don't think I
Because then
have
you can
one.
just like look it up. Or
Yeah, that's
I can literally, I can literally print off a list, and then you can just, Control F, and then, look for the title and see if I
let me
have
ask
it.
you this, because I know these are probably films you haven't seen, but do you kind of like shocking horror, like something kind of like on a sick side or something?
I
But
mean, they're definitely interesting, but some of them is like, it really depends on the film.
like something like a Martyrs,
Serbian film. Like I watched it once, and
Yeah,
I
probably wouldn't
don't
care
plan
for
to
it.
watch it again.
And I've seen both versions. I've seen like where it's already a horrific version, and then I saw a completely even more uncut than that, and that was sick. That was sick. I think
Yeah.
the one that you saw, you remember the part with
Oh no,
the woman
I saw the unrated cut.
like, completely uncut with the baby,
Yeah.
and you saw what happened. Like
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
it was not right.
don't need to see that
I'm not
again.
gonna. Yeah, that's not right. That's not right. So okay, maybe not like that, but something that's I guess meant to be like more tastefully done is like something. Have you heard of Martyrs?
Yeah.
That's a French film. Something like in that caliber, like something sick like that, or like a Human Centipede. How about that's a lesser. That's not as technically sophisticated like Martyrs, but even though I consider it all the same still because Martyrs. What's so sophisticated about that, and what happens to her? I don't know. But what about like Human Centipede, something like that? Is that something you would care for?
I mean, Human Centipede probably not.
Okay. See,
Cause
those would be easier because I know that's something you won't have. But the thing is, at the same time, there's a reason why you don't have it. And I don't want it to end up to be like that. Like I can get you the sickest fucking like anthropophagus is an I think I'm pronouncing that right. Have you heard that word anthropophagus? Do you know the definition of that?
No.
Okay. When it came out here in America, they retitled it Grim Reaper. It's an Italian film, and I forgot the name of that director. It's not like Fulci. It's not Bava or Argento, but it's one of those Italian directors. And under that title, it was Anthropophagus, unedited, and it means like the cannibalism, the eating of human flesh. You saw the Facebook group page. Did you look at that? I gave it a Christmas theme.
Yeah.
The banner. You looked at? Did you take a good hard look at that? Did you see what's on there? Maybe you
No.
should look again. Look again. That's there's two to the left and right. It's like the back view, like from behind, and those aren't paintings. That's a real screenshot from the film, and I just cut him out. I cut him out, but that's a real. Those are real shots from the film, the actual real scenes. I added the words in there so people know what that is, that he's about to, what he extracted and what he's about to eat. That is a scene from Anthropophagus.
Mm.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Do you see that the two scenes where
Yeah.
I wrote words? You see?
Yeah.
That's that movie Anthropophagus. That's pretty sick. So like if I get you something like that, I don't know if you'd like that.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. And that's the thing. That's what worries me, that I don't know. I want it to be something you would actually like. So I think I will go by your list. And but I want it to be, you know, something a little bit more elite, not just like getting you like Shang-Chi or something that you can just pick up at a Best Buy.
Oh well, no. I'm actually, speaking of Shang-Chi, I completely
Shang-Chi,
forgot to
sorry.
order that. That came out yesterday.
Oh, did it?
Hopefully it is still in stock because I completely forgot to order that.
Oh boy, and you're talking about like a steelbook of it?
Yep. Okay, it is in stock.
Okay,
I can get it. I can get it shipped.
Steelbook? Is that Best Buy?
Yeah.
Best Buy. Okay.
Well,
How much is it, like $35?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well,
okay.
I gotta get it because I'm keeping up my 4K steelbook collection of all those
I already have some gaps in mind because I was unable to hard times and stuff. Like Doctor Strange I don't have, and like this one I don't have. You know, some of the more newer ones I don't have. But anyways, yeah. Let's get back to.
It's not available for pickup anywhere near me, but I can do free shipping.
Sort of free shipping, yeah, and hopefully I think usually they're pretty careful with that. They pack that in a way that it doesn't get dented.
Yeah, well, if it is dented, I'm gonna be returning it.
Yeah, and it better be on their dollar because they're the ones that screwed that up, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and I got a $15 certificate, so that brings it down.
That's really nice. Good.
Yeah. On to the next one while I buy this.
Okay. And I'll move this along quite briefly because I think I have multiple of this series in my list.
Yep.
So we'll go Lord of the Rings. Next one is Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. This is a great one. Ian McKellen knocked it out of the park, of course, as Gandalf. You have Frodo Baggins, which, you know, back in the day, people complain, well, you know, they kind of complain that, you know, well, Frodo's like, and no offense, this is what, you know, back in the day, they call him like he's gay or something like that. And I've heard it all, you know, stuff like, well, they're just hobbits, but it's really just Frodo. I mean, I thought Samwise Gamgee was just a badass, and Frodo's not necessarily like a gay. It's just he's just the way he is. You know, he's just very kind of like a weakling. And when he has the ring amplifies what your strengths or weaknesses are, like what you are, what you embody. So if it went to Gandalf, it would be all powerful. Plus, it would manipulate him and make him kind of evil. With Frodo, he's what's the word I'm looking for? When someone is inert, inertly weak. That means he's like naturally weak, inertly. Is that the word you would use? I don't know, but he's like inertly weak. I thought I heard that word used like inertly when someone's, you know, he's just like naturally kind of weak. So when the ring came to his possession, that's why he's acting even more weaker. Oh, Sam, it's so heavy. I can't go, because it personified his weakness, you know. So I just love how, you know, the story of Lord of the Rings. I was never even a really big book reader. I never really read the books. I saw the animated cartoon, the Rankin Bass of The Hobbit, and part of the animation of the animated Lord of the Rings. But it's the films is where they're at. And I just absolutely love the Lord of the Rings trilogy films. And then later on in, like, what was it? 2010, 2011, maybe 2012, when it was a Hobbit trilogy that got hate, but I still love those as well. These were still better, but I also close behind is the Hobbit trilogy films. I love those close to as much as this. And this is just the first part of it when the Fellowship they create the Fellowship and they establish the plan and what they have to do, and so begins a long trek to Mount Doom. And there you that's when you see at the end of that the separation, how the Fellowship breaks off. It's just at the end of it when they break off into like three groups, like a few groups. You had Merry and Pippin, off kidnapped, and they're their own group, and then Sam and Frodo, and then you had the trifecta of fighters, Legolas, Gimli, and
I
Aragorn.
mean, in Gandalf, he gets separated for a
And
bit.
Gandalf gets separated for a while too. In fact, he like dies and then comes back as Gandalf the White. So yeah, great story. Um, Sauron, played by Christopher Lloyd, uh,
Lee.
Christopher Lee, is great. Everything, the Urukai, and the fight, the action sequences, and I'd say this for the whole trilogy, and for the Hobbit films, I thought had excellent choreography. Legolas is my favorite guy. So that's it.
All right, and you go ahead and do another one because I,
Me?
I did I did skip over one.
Okay. Well, then in that case,
I purposely skipped over one on my list because I honestly don't have almost like little to nothing to say about it because it's been so
oh,
long since
okay,
I've seen it.
okay, that's fine then. Okay, I have it up already then. I can almost just pretty much
Right.
echo what I said
Yeah.
on the other one because it's just Lord of the Rings, Two Towers. It, like I said, continues that story, how they're doing, split up. But Gandalf later on, of course, will rejoin Aragorn and his group, Legolas and Gimli. And then you see the hardships that Frodo is undertaking with Sam and the ring, and they meet Faramir, which is Boromir's brother, and of course they meet um, Gollum, Gollum slash Smeagol, just so great, and you really see. Was it the second or was it the third? I want to say it was the third where they fight Shelob, the giant spider. I think it was the third, right? Yeah, where they fought the giant spider.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great scene. But yeah, and I love it how everything, when Gandalf, Aragorn, Gimli, Legolas, they get to Rohan, the horseman land, and they meet Theoden King, and not Arwen but Eowyn, the daughter, yeah, the daughter of Theoden King, King Theoden, and they all have to relocate from their place, their base, because they're going to be attacked by the goblins, and the orcs and stuff, by Sauron and Saruman's army, that they have to go to Helm's Deep, and it all culminates into that battle for Helm's Deep. Sure, it was a little bit dark, but you know what? It was not as dark as the Longest Night episode from Game of Thrones. That second or third episode where they fought, it was still cool, but it was really dark. This one was not so bad, not as dark as that.
I mean, yeah, you could still see what was happening.
Yeah, and you probably heard news about that Game of Thrones episode, how everyone complained it was
Yeah.
so dark. It was goddamn dark. And I thought the action in this one was, um, uh, I was going to say better, but no, it all really equal amounts of great action, because even Fellowship had that great action sequence when they were down in the mines of Moria before Gandalf fought the Balrog, and he fought all those with the cave troll and the different goblins, and a whole fight with Legolas doing his shit, and that was all great. And at the end fight, when Boromir blows his horn, so great action in this, but it was like a war action sequence, but a fantasy war action sequence, much not unlike Braveheart, but only with a fantasy twist to it. So I love that. Okay, that's it for the Two Towers.
All right. All right. This one is my last
Okay.
for this video. So this
Okay.
is my number
Oh, good.
16.
Good. So we're getting there.
All right, and this one, a true classic. If by what
Okay.
the film snobs, as the film snobs say.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, but yeah, this is a borderline silent film.
Okay.
Um, that is Modern Times.
Beautiful. And now I've yet to see the whole of that. I've only seen like parts of it here and there.
Oh,
Like
it it,
when
it
it would come on,
it's
I'd walk away, and
fantastic.
when I come back, it's already later on. But yeah, that whole part where he's caught in the gears, how it
Yep,
showcases that was amazing. I
it's
got to really
fantastic,
see
and
it.
this
Um,
was technically Charlie Chaplin's first
talkie?
sound film,
Oh, sound film. Okay.
but he kind of like it was the film was almost kind of like a troll because it's like
Oh,
almost nobody talks in the movie,
oh,
and the tramp never speaks in the movie except for one scene, and literally everything he's saying is complete gibberish.
oh. Okay. So in a way, so it is like his first talkie, even though it's not really. He's not
Yeah,
really talking. It's gibberish.
it
That's what it
wasn't until
is.
I believe Great Dictator is considered his
Where?
first.
Okay, that's the one. All right, right. Where he's like Hitler. Und Eiston, Vrasto, and Reisenkon, in Karen Torrensinkaf, and Dumko. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying, but what's great about with that great dictator, if you've seen the film, it was with flying saucers, and you did a parody of that. And how come I can't? Do I even have that film? Wait, go on, just keep talking.
Oh
Keep
no,
talking
it's
about
great.
it.
It's I mean, yeah, it's Charlie Chaplin. It's absolutely fantastic, silent film slapstick. Have that whole I forgot what they call it. It was like the feeding machine where it was like they were trying to make a machine so that would feed the workers so they would never have to leave their
Oh,
station. And it was just completely busted. It was absolutely hilarious because there's like starting to feed
see it.
him like bolts and whatnot.
I've got to see
It
it.
was
It's
great.
sitting there in my collection in my Criterion, as
Yep.
is a bunch of Chaplin. There's it's like half and half that I've seen in my collection of Chaplin, and I've seen half of it, and there's like another half that I haven't seen.
Oh
That
yeah,
kind of thing.
there's still quite a bit of Chaplin I need to watch. That's why I got
But
that whole the Criterion challenge that I
there's
want to work on.
can you look this up, because I'm afraid if I touch something is going to mess this up. But you're more skilled at this. Can you look up it's a sci-fi film that featured the Great Dictator, and it's like with the Nazis, and if the Nazis, and there's a sequel to it, and I've seen them both, and they were both pretty good. It's like a sci-fi thing. What if the Nazis, instead of being they didn't all die, they took spaceships and they went to the moon, and the Nazis came back for another invasion. And what's kind of funny about that film, they're on the moon, and it's many generations of like their secondhand, third generation, whatever, fourth generation Nazis. So they've all grown up in the moon, and they're being taught and everything. And film that the teacher, the Fraulein, would use to educate the little kids to become future Nazis is The Great Dictator. But it was like completely edited down to where it's the part where it's like the serious part, but the parts that make him seem like a doofus, you know, in Great Dictator, that all part was cut out, and the film was only like 10 or 15 minutes long. That's their version, the Nazi version that was being showcased. And when she came down to earth with the rest of her Nazis, her eyes were opened, and she saw, oh, Great Dictator, I know this film. This is a great film. She goes into the movie theater, and it's the full uncut version. She came out of it, and she's like, they made it sound like our Führer was a buffoon. Because they've never seen it in that version of Chaplin. And the version that we've seen, he's a brilliant man. It's just so great. And and there's a part, because it was a black guy that went to the moon. It's only great fun. And you know how the Nazis, they hate different races, and they don't like
Yeah.
black. So it's just like a funny thing, like everything that happens when they saw him, and they experimented on the black dude. And the black dude was really great in this. The mad scientist there, the Nazi scientist, changed his pigment to be white and made his hair blonde, like dyed it blonde. So he kind of looks like a really goofy looking black dude, and he was unaware of his new appearance. And what he's wearing was like swastika on his outfit. So he was only aware of that, but not aware of what he looked like. So when he went back down to Earth, because he lied to them, yeah, I hope you like dominate Earth, we'll go down there. So they go down there, and there's a bunch of black people playing the basketball. So he goes, come on, guys, come on, you better let me do the talking, So he goes to him, and he covers one arm like this, the Nazi swastika. He goes, hey, what's going on, brothers? What's going on? And then they look at him like, what the fuck? and the way he looks, his blonde hair and everything. You fucked up, And then they're trying to kick his ass, and he gets out of, what is wrong with these people, man? My brothers are. He looks in the mirror and he sees, wait, man, what the fuck you do to me? And it's fucking funny. They made him like a white guy, but he's like so. You got to see this movie. Did you look it up? What it's called?
I don't. I have no idea what it is.
Oh, I have it. I have the steelbook of it too, and I just can't believe. I forgot the name of it. I don't have the sequel, but I have the steelbook of the first film. But in any case, you got to see that film. It's a good one.
Yeah,
But
it's Modern Times Chaplin. It's a classic. I think Charlie Chaplin. I think Charlie Chaplin films are one of the
genius. Yeah.
Yeah, they're at least to me they're timeless just in the fact because they're comedies.
Exactly.
Who doesn't like to laugh?
Right. And have you seen The Gold Rush yet? You got to see that.
Not yet.
Watch The Gold Rush. You know what I say? The next, how we sometimes see films together. We should see both Modern Times together and The Gold Rush. And The Gold Rush, no pun intended, or maybe pun intended, is absolute gold. It's great. The whole bit of him eating the shoe was fantastic. The whole part with the date with the girl, and I'll just say like how she doesn't show up, and I don't want to spoil it, but there's a reason why she doesn't show up for the date that they have, and he's waiting for her, and that's one of those things I'm watching, and and then I kind of teared up and I kind of cried. The Chaplin film made me cry. That was the first one. The second one was The Kid, and that one made me cry as well. The young Jackie Cogan in that one. But yeah, we got to see. So Modern Times for me, and we'll see that together. And the Gold Rush, which I've seen, but you haven't, and we'll see that one together. Excellent one. And that Gold Rush is on my list, as is The Kid. And I've seen that one like a few times now. It's great.
Yeah. All right, let's get this
finally
the last one.
Okay.
And yep.
I know this is how
boring
is that we talk about we go from Chaplin and old golden age films, and and
all the way to MCU.
This was a great film. I really like this one a lot, although it's like, I know this and Endgame go hand in hand, but I personally liked Endgame slightly more, just a little bit, even though they're both like one film. This was great. And the whole thing with how it starts off, how it picks up after Thor
Ragnarok.
Thor Ragnarok on the ship. Now that's like a moving Asgard ship, and how Thanos is there, and he got the stone from him and blew up the ship and everything, to Hulk being rescued by Heimdall, going to Doctor Strange, and then how Doctor Strange and Banner now and Wong have to recruit one by one, trying to get everyone together and let them know about this threat with Tony, and just everything, and how Spider-Man comes into the picture. I love how this is an excellent setup with great, leading near the end, midpoint end, to the great action sequences, the battles. The thing is, though, Captain America was not really at his fullest because he didn't have his shield. He had his beard. He just didn't feel like a Captain America to me. But not bad. I know it's like a different take, because when we do see him again in Endgame, he is back to his Captain America self, with the shield, with the costume, the look. He's shaved. So it's just it is great. But that opening sequence with Captain America, how he came to the aid of Wanda, aka Scarlet Witch, and Vision in that train station, you know, dun 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 dun, throws a spear down there. You know, he comes out of the shadow, he catches a spear, and it's Falcon, it's Scarlet Witch, and not Scarlet Witch, Black Widow, Captain, and they fight those two giant sized aliens and kick the shit out of them. And he goes, "Don't make us kill you. We'll do it." He goes, she's like, "You should have killed me while you have the chance, because you won't get another." And they teleport back up, and everything is fantastic about this. I love how when things start off, it shows how the individual lives are playing out, how it's going. You know, how you see like the Vision and Wanda together and what's going on with them, you know, the aftermath of the Civil War and how things is going, and how this Infinity War kind of brings everyone together. And Ross still doesn't care, still wants to arrest them all, but you know what I mean? And it just it brings back Tony and Steve Rogers back together again, you know, to be friends, whereas we saw how it all ended last time on bad terms and Civil War. So I thought that was a great showcase of that, you know, to show the polarizing difference of how they go from complete enemies, you know, that shield, you don't deserve that shield, to, you know, to them getting back together. And I think it was an Endgame. You lose it again, I'm keeping it. We gave them back the shield. So I think all those things was just a great storytelling and great build up to what is to eventually to come in Endgame, you know, and how it just basically all ends and everything kind of comes full circle in the whole Stark Marvel verse, how it began with Stark in the very first Iron Man in 2008 to finally Endgame. And I thought it's magnificent, and it's picking up with another whole new kind of phase with it, with all new young heroes. And I think I see a setup for Hawkeye with Kate Bishop taking over the mantle of Hawkeye for the Young Avengers. Going to be great. What you got to say?
I mean, yeah, it's Infinity War. I think it's great. I mean, I agree with you. I think Endgame is the better movie. Mainly for me, it's mainly because I think I enjoy the more human moments more. Like,
Yeah,
so a lot of
because it's
people
the
complain about,
aftermath of the snap. Yes,
like, because
yes.
a lot of people complained about the first 30 minutes of Endgame, but I thought like that was great. I love seeing that aftermath, that, you know, and the
What
effects that
was
it
wrong with
had
the
on
first
all the
30 minutes?
characters. Hmm?
What was wrong with the first 30 minutes? Is it because it was
They
like
just find it.
slow?
I don't know. From what I've heard, people just say it's like it's too slow, and I'm like,
Oh, just because it
what are
was
you
showing
talking about?
it's a movie after all. It's still, you know, it's not going to all be action. It's
Yeah,
not going to like go from one fight leading to another fight and then just all fights. It's like, you
yeah,
got to have a reason for things.
yeah, and I loved it.
I loved it.
Endgame, I really love it. This one I really like too.
How about the
Um,
beginning of the game with what's her name, Nebula, and the football game, right?
yeah,
When they're playing
yeah, that
I
was
don't know
great.
what you call it, the fake football, and then he goes, "Okay, now it's my turn." No, that was pathetic. And he goes, "Well, game over, and now you just won." He goes, and she's like, "Did you have fun?" Or she's like, "Fair game, fair game. Did you have fun?" Yes. I love Nebula, but go on.
Yeah, it's great. I love the evolution that the characters have throughout, you know, the
Yes.
films. That's
Yes.
kind of like my complaint with like the Iron Man movies. Is like I
Really?
really enjoy the first one, but I feel like,
First one was gold.
yeah, my issue with the sequels is I feel like Tony's character just kind of took like a step backwards. He just became his old self again, just so he could
Yeah.
go through the
Yeah.
exact same
Mhm.
arc within each movie.
I wanted to, yeah. Okay, I'm glad you brought that up because I felt like with the first one, he went from being that arrogant, you know, guy, and then when things took a turn for the worse with his accident, accident, and he become a hostage with that other Afghan guy or Israeli or whatever he was, a Muslim guy, whatever he was, that one dude that helped him out to escape. This was always the plan. That part made me cry. He was just like, come on, man, we got to stick to the plan. We got to get out of here. No, this was always the plan. And it's like, thank you for saving my life. And he's like pissed, you see what I mean? There was a change in him. You never got that moment anymore. And you're right. He just kind of went back to his old self. But I thought that was like, that's why I think the first one was the first Iron Man was like a perfect, it captured the essence of the character and the perfect pacing and the perfect storytelling, because it wasn't oversaturated with action, but it was a great balance between action when there needed to be and magnificent storytelling rolled into one. And it was just great to see that human side of Tony, him going through that. This was always the plan.
Yeah,
Like that,
I feel like you never really got that. Like, you never really saw the evolution of Tony until Civil War.
Yes, yeah, right. And then again at the end, when he.
Yeah, it wasn't until like Civil War and Infinity War that we actually saw. It's like, okay, yeah, this is the Tony that I saw at the end of Iron Man 1.
Yes.
It's like, I mean, I don't know, the tone, like, it just didn't feel right in Iron Man 2 and 3.
Even though I still thought those were great, I even liked 3 because it was a kind of different, and it featured more of like, it's like Tony's story, and I liked the relationship with the kid, how he helped him out, and he gave him that supercomputer at the end, and you saw him again at the end of End Game. At the end, he was a kid. That was that teen dude standing there. Was a kid from Iron Man 3. So that's what I liked about it, and of course they're fighting AIM, AIM, which is like it's not called anachronism or an anagram or anagram. Like SHIELD stands for something. That's acronym. AIM is an acronym like SHIELD. So A stands for something, I, and then M. Spearheaded, of course, by Guy Pearce. So AIM is a villain of the Marvel. So I'm glad they brought that faction into the thing, and I wonder if we're going to see them again, and I hope we do see them again. But AIM is a classic.
Wait, have you seen? Yeah, you saw Shang-Chi. So
you saw Shang-Chi. Yes. Yeah, I saw. He's back. The fake Mandarin, and that was great.
Yeah,
I love that guy.
And I'm glad we at least got to see the real Mandarin.
Yeah, and the real Mandarin, and I don't mind. I'm okay with the changes. I mean, the original one, he looks more with the Manchu, and the rings were literal rings, and each ring did a different effect, and that's okay for a comic book and of the time, in like 80s that could fly. But can you imagine how cheesy that would be? This ring is a levitating ring. This ring shoots. This ring does. You know what I mean? And here it's more updated. So I was okay with that. It didn't bother me that the rings were just bracelet things on your arms, and they all did one power thing, not one did this. One ring makes you invisible or something. I don't remember all but each ring gave a different power. It was like, it would have been kind of cheesy, I think, but that's okay.
Man, that's Avengers. I mean, with MCOU, it's always like a whole can of worms, because it's a whole world, and I know a lot of people don't like them. Well, a lot. I say it's like, I don't explain it. It's definitely become one of those things where it's like, the more popular something gets, the more hate it gets.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah. They like, maybe they kind of like it, and then at the beginning, and then because they feel like it's become oversaturated, and then they kind of like hate it, or like maybe they become sick of it, and then they hate it because they're sick of it. But I think, well, did you see any of the Disney Plus stuff, like the Falcon and Winter Soldier?
I've seen them all. I haven't started Hawkeye yet.
Hawkeye's magnificent. Check it out. It's great, because I know Hawkeye is probably one of those side characters that people don't really pay attention to. So to see him, and to see him kind of like, I don't want to say out of his element, but see him in a different way. It's not really out of his element. It's just the side you don't see, like the family man side, really, and how he's with his family and his kids. And to see that, and just to see how his life is, behind the action, the things you don't see. I love that. I'll give you an example of what I mean by the things you don't see. There's a scene in Halloween Kills where you see Michael Myers. I put a clip on my channel where he killed killed a guy, and you see him like stabbing knives, multiple knives in his back in a pattern while the wife is dying, watching him do this, making his masterpiece. And he just looked like really weird and awkward doing it. And someone left I titled the video "A Bizarre Scene." What WTF? What the fuck, Michael? Like a bizarre scene. What the fuck, Michael? Because I was just like, I've never seen that before. Him doing that, and then someone commented, said he has always done this. It's just look at this as something like a behind the scenes look at, because typically in a Halloween film you see the aftermath of when Michael Myers is done with the body, how he displays it, or he hangs it, or he does something weird with the body for you to find, and it looks weird. You know what I'm talking about? He has it decorated like knives in the head. You see the aftermath. This is, you're seeing the man at work. So that's why he has always done this, but you typically see it like the aftermath, like when like Laurie or someone else the next victim would come across the body and you would see it displayed in this fashion. Now you're actually seeing how this happens. So this is like with Hawkeye, you see like the behind the scenes, what you don't see. Like when we're watching the Avengers movies, we see him all in the action. But what's he doing when he's not on screen, or when he's not? This is what he's doing. He's doing stuff like this. And it's just absolutely great. And I thought Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop, magnificent job, just great. Do check it out. I'm not going to say any more about it, but do check it out. It's a great time.
Yeah. I mean, I do plan on seeing it because I gotta stay up to date with the Marvel stuff.
And what is very sad is if none of these got announced for any Blu-rays or haven't gotten any on Blu-ray or DVD by now, I'm very sad because I'm never going to be able to collect it to complete my Marvel collection. I want to buy WandaVision. I want to buy Falcon and Winter Soldier. I want to buy, you know what I mean? I want to buy these. I want to buy this series on Blu.
Yeah.
You think it's never going to happen?
I don't think it's going to happen.
It's always
not even Mandalorian is on Blu-ray.
So what happens if like Disney Plus shuts down or something? Now we lost it forever.
Then you're shit out of luck.
That's pretty bad.
Unless you download it.
Okay. I'll say no more, but okay. All right. Well.
Yeah.
2 hours and 44 minutes into it.
The joys of modern day streaming.
I was worried this would happen. This is why, and Disney capitalized on that with making it so now it's mandatory. If you want to see these things, there's no waiting on Blu-ray. There's no waiting for it to come on Blu-ray. Blu-ray. I mean, you can wait a year from now, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. And when's it gonna come out to Blu? So I can just kind of get it and see it. Guess what? Nothing doing. You got to subscribe to our channel. Now you can see it. It's 10 years old, but now you can see it.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that. I really don't. Yeah. How do you feel about it? I'm pretty sure.
I don't like it.
It's just
especially since it's like as a audio video enthusiast,
collector. Me too.
Having everything like limited to compressed through streaming. It's just
like that.
Annoying.
And you get
it just keep you. They're just keeping you from being able to watch it in the best way possible.
I want to say bad things and swear at Disney, but I can't because it's like a double-edged sword with them for me now. With when it comes to this, I love the work and stuff, but I don't love what they're doing because. Like I could buy anything else that has been a series, like Sex and the City, for example. I'm not going to buy that though, but I mean, like that or Game of Thrones, you can get that on Blu. That was a series too. A-Team, MacGyver, what else? Scooby-Doo. You can get all those on Blu. Those are all series. Yeah. This Mandalorian.
I'm still waiting on Warner Brothers to release some of those Cartoon Network shows on either DVD or Blu-ray or something.
Well, you know that I got both volumes of the Tex Avery's. You know those Tex Avery cartoons, the Golden Age of Animation, Tom and Jerry's from the MGM, Fred Quimby days. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, there's only a volume one of that first Tom and Jerry, and I think volume two was released in foreign countries. So the only way to get volume two is if I order it from like a foreign country. Um, but I want it to come here. I want them to complete the Tom and Jerry collection because I have volume
Yeah,
one sitting there. I got both parts of the
what's the thing?
Tex Avery.
I want them to actually release, complete Looney Tunes collections.
Me too. Yeah,
N-
I've got
Instead
the
instead of
order.
just these, best ofs.
Well, the Looney Tunes thing I have is where are they?
If it's the platinum collection or whatever the hell they call it.
Yeah, platinum like the
Yeah,
first.
that's just the best of.
That's still a best. No, but there was,
It's still a best of.
but there's a lot of shit on there. Are you sure
It's
it's not like,
it's still a best of.
and like one of the ones was like a red slipcover one, and the first one was a digibook.
Yeah,
That,
all those are best
that's a
ofs.
compilation. Oh, man, no.
They're not complete. Like I don't think there exists a complete. Not even the Golden Collection on DVD is complete. It's still technically like a best of
That's too bad. And I
because
wanted
there's
to
like lots of banned ones
race,
and stuff like
racing.
that.
But that's as Whoopi Goldberg said at the beginning of that. It's just it's a part of history. And to ignore them is to say like it's just as bad, saying that it never happened. She loves
Yeah,
Porky, and just like me, and I find it hilarious. Even the racist stuff against my race, against black race, against all race, because they make fun of like everything, sure, and they make fun mostly of the minorities. But like, I'll give you an example. There's a black and white Bugs Bunny one, which I seen it on VHS, and it's on VHS. I have it here somewhere, but it's technically Brian's, but it's just still sitting here, and or unless you took that one back. And the title of the episode, it was during the Japanese War, and it's called. Do you know what a NIP is? NIP. A NIP, the racial,
no,
meant in a derogatory term. A NIP is like, well, the for blacks is NIG. You know what I'm talking about? That
yeah.
so this a NIP is like that for like Asian people, and it's called Bugs Bunny Nips the Nips. And they make the Japanese people all stereotypical, like oh, how and real slant eyed and everything. And I still laughed. I thought it was hilarious as fuck. I think remember when we showcased each other like a racist cartoon, and it's still funny. Like I showed you the one where His Mouse Friday one. You remember that one? The His Mouse
Yeah,
Friday, the Tom and Jerry, and you showed me another one too. And it's sure, yeah, it was wrong, but it's made, it's done, but it's funny. All that stuff is just all funny. I mean, um, it's what's it called? I can't say like it's can't really say it's like it's funny because it's true or funny because it's not true. It's what do you call that word? Like a stereotype. They make fun of the stereotype of it. You know what I mean? Like with the black people in the cartoons where they're eating the melons and stuff like that. It's a stereotype kind of thing, but it's all hilarious. And with the Asian people, whenever in those cartoons, those MGM ones, when the symbol for drumming, when you drum, the cymbal, that metal thing, when something
yeah,
like that hits their head, it becomes like like a Chinese, how the Chinese have
yeah.
and they go into that in their buck tooth, a Manchu, and the eyes are, it's funny shit, it's all good. So it doesn't offend me at all. And I mean, they should look, and I think nowadays, but I don't know, who knows? You get some people that will complain and become up in arms in that. But I mean, I really think for the most part, people, especially the old
I
school,
think it's mostly just a loud minority
yeah,
that are complaining.
for the
Like
most part,
if you
people
have
don't
the
like it.
warning, like ain't nobody complaining about make mine music and melody time like on Blu-ray.
I want that. I want that. And the South, Song of the South, is it? The Zippity Doo Dah?
Yeah, that's this. It'll never happen.
That'll never happen.
It's not even on DVD.
I think the only way you could get it was it like a VHS or something?
You could get it on
Not
Laserdisc.
a laser disc, yeah, like out of print or something.
Like it's like a Laserdisc from Japan.
God.
That's
Well,
like the best quality version you can
didn't
get.
anyone make a bootleg of that one and put it on a DVD so it can
Yeah,
be
there's
later?
bootlegs, but like at that point you could just download it yourself.
That is true. That is true. Good. Is it available? You know, a certain way, if you know what I'm talking about. Is it
Yeah.
available in that? Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, hell, out of all the stuff that you could ban, like Song of the South is pretty tame in comparison.
Oh, yeah. There's this one. It was like a racial thing, a racial, and they're banned cartoons, and it's on VHS. And I think it might even be sitting here unless Brian took it back. But these are all his. He left his like VHS stuff over here, and it's been sitting here for years now. But it's like banned cartoons, and it's like with like blacks and like Asians and stuff like that. Completely racist cartoons, and the real ones that were made back in the day that you will never see. Scrub Me Mama with a Boogie Beat is another one. Yeah, the drawn in the stereotypical way. But you watch that stuff, and it is just, I don't care what race. They make fun of everything. Even Flintstones did it. There's one where it was like I think like a Boy Scout or like some kind of scout thing, and they got all the different scouts from different races. Like, and when it came to the Asian part, the Indian part, they really make them like with the Chinese, with the accent, and they're singing, and then the Polish, and so yeah, so Flintstones even had some of that, and it's I'm a-okay with that. It's just as Whoopi Goldberg said, to deny them or never release them is like saying that it's never happened at all, to erase it, and that's just even worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, do you think we should just kind of end it?
Yeah.
Or do we have more to? Yeah. It's just. Would you say this is the longest one, or no? Did we have
Yeah,
enough?
this is the longest one.
Can I ask you what happened?
What do you mean?
I really felt we were like really rushing and going through it like at a nice pace. I really thought we would be able to keep it like under an hour and a half, like an hour and
Nope.
15. Nope. An hour and 15, and we're almost nearing 3. Let's end it. Let's end it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's been part 6. Hopefully we will have part 7
Yeah. If
done.
any of you guys,
Because
yeah.
part 8 will be our last, so be a nice little 8-part series.
I wanted to say too, if any of you guys had the fortitude to sit through all of these and the whole 3 hours of like this one, thank you. And I hope you're not too disappointed, Alex, that it's too long or anything if you're watching.
I just looked. Part 5 is actually longer.
Oh, okay. How long was that one? So that
was over 3 hours.
Okay, let's end this now.
Yeah.
See you guys.
Yeah, we're reaching end game levels.
Yeah. Let's end it.
Where the stream is already longer than Infinity War.
It is. Let's end it.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see ya.
See you on the next part, guys.